Hello there, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me as always is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, going all right. If I could just watch the clock. I'm glad to be here, though. It's good to see you tonight, Price. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Not sure there's some of it that I want to talk about, but that's okay.
I wonder which part is it that you don't want to talk about?
Oh, God, Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I'm so tired of talking about the show. My
Oh,
God,
it's an awful
it's
show.
so bad. Oh, I watched your review today, Price. I hope everyone else goes out, checks that out. This man is suffering for all of you.
I was gonna ask you if you thought that it was all you don't know how much like I do like a half an hour, and then I have to take a break. Like it really is painful to do this and to try even explain what's happening on the show in a review to other people. It seems like it would be easy, but it's not easy because it's so awful that I'm trying to kind of narrow it down and explain how stupid it is, but I also I don't want other people to suffer as much as I have, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, jeez, I mean, all the reviewers that are watching this, I think, thankfully, I think a lot of people are just skipping watching this show altogether and just watching reviewers like you and others. Disparu, I know, is getting tons of traffic. Nerdrotic and so on. Man, the review that Gary did for this, I'm not a huge fan of Gary's. I like his stuff fine. I don't know. So sometimes there's personality stuff that doesn't click with me. But anyway, I did watch his review of this latest episode of Starfleet Academy just because I just wanted to see what he had to say. And you could see him like having a mental breakdown on camera. Like it's that bad.
Yeah, I actually I watched his review. I like Gary's reviews personally. I think that he has this kind of cynicism, this kind of dry cynicism that I kind of like, and it's really good when something is awful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I think again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like Gary. I'm just, there's some YouTubers that you really click with. There's some that you don't, and there's always those types of things. So with Gary,
listen.
it's one of those things. Like I respect what he's doing, and I think a lot of stuff that I've seen that he does is funny. It's just there's only so many videos you can watch on YouTube. There's only so many people you can follow, so many live streams you can make it to, and his is just one that just kind of always just sort of falls to the wayside, right? So
Yeah, I mean the thing is that I personally think that he does a good job.
yeah.
Uh, it, It's like, but yeah, I mean, people have different reviewers, and like, some people connect with this guy, and some people connect with that guy. Overall, I'd say that for me, I like his style. I'm not just saying that just to be nice or something. I genuinely, I would say that when I started doing videos, the YouTubers that I really enjoyed watching their videos is like Critical Drinker. I really enjoyed watching
Hmm.
his reviews.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I enjoyed watching Gary's. Drinker, I think that he has the best delivery and just script, whatever he like, the narration is just very, very solid. When it comes to Gary, I like his knowledge. He's very knowledgeable, and
Oh,
I appreciate
absolutely, sure he
he,
is.
like the dry, witty kind of thing along with the knowledge. I've always liked that. So that's what I think he does well. And I've also like I enjoyed very early on also Robot Head's videos. I think that in his case, they're very well made in terms of like the way he narrates and edits together, because I think he's like an editor before anything else. He's a really smooth editor.
Yeah.
So those are like channels that very early on I watched. But what I'll say is that I can't really do what either of these people do. You know what I mean? I'm not knowledgeable like Gary. I can't edit like Robot Head, and I probably can't narrate like Drinker. But maybe at least like listening and watching these, as being an early person that watched those, maybe I was able to absorb something at least. As people call me on my channel sometimes, I'm the discount critical drinker. Almost every video, somebody writes that. He's like, "You're the discount getting in." Like, it's not even the same person. It's like each time it's a different person.
Caleb Levine's calling us out. He says, for a show that you say sucks so bad, you guys sure do love talking about it every day.
Well, here's the thing. I actually, I don't know if people remember, but when we started this thing, the reviews, what happened was is that uh, I watched the first two episodes, and I legitimately, wanted to review them. And I got stuck in the middle, and I said, I can't finish this review. The first one was brutal because it was two episodes, and that is very, very difficult. For me to sit and review two in one video, unheard of. Some people did it in two separate videos. Maybe that's what I should have done. I did them both in one, and at some point I just said I can't do this, and I stopped in the middle, and I couldn't continue doing it. And then I posted online. I mean, I wrote it in a kind of humorous way. I think people that know me know that I was like half joking, but I said like I'm suffering so much I can't finish this stupid review. And actually Disparu answered, what I wrote. He responded to my tweet, and he said, "Listen, you already started working on it. You're already halfway done. Finish it. You have viewers, you have a responsibility. You already did it. Finish the job." And you know what? I actually looked at it and I said the guy is right. And I sat down and I finished it. And people have been enjoying the reviews. Maybe I'm not enjoying the show and it's a lot of suffering for me to do the reviews. It does give me some kind of satisfaction if at least some people are enjoying the reviews.
Yes. Well, I think there is an element of sadism involved here.
But I mean, this
People
last one.
enjoying other people's suffering.
This last one, the part that made me laugh about Gary's review is that he's like, this is the B plot, but it's not really a plot, so it's a plot that's not a plot, or whatever he was saying. And I was laughing because it's the worst. That thing with the chancellor that they're sitting at the dinner is so awful. It is such an awful scene.
And it's well, and the thing is, it's clear what they're trying to rip off, right? It's clear all of these different episodes that we've had of Star Trek, especially in TNG, where they're like, oh, they've got to prepare for this diplomatic encounter that they're going to have, whether it's a dinner or some kind of niceties where he has to get up and Picard has to get up and give a speech, or go through some ceremony or something. Like there's a number of those episodes. They're clearly supposed to be playing off of that idea, but what they end up with is just this absurd, ridiculous thing, and it goes so completely over the top. It's maddening, and it's all dumb, and it all wraps up. It all culminates, Price, in a fart joke.
But what people don't notice, and I said that in my video, there not with the fish. There is actually a fart in the middle of that's not the fish. There's a fart that nobody explains. I'm serious. In the middle of the scene.
I know. There's a second fart. I thought we were just supposed to assume it was the fish again. But I don't.
It's the fish again.
That was what I assumed, but I don't know.
Don't assume.
Who
They
knows?
didn't
It could
show
have
the
been.
fish.
It could have been somebody else.
I mean, it could have been Holly Hunter. Who knows?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Well,
all I know is, boy, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow night, Price. I have heard that tomorrow's episode. Now, again, this could be wrong, but what I have heard is that the 6th episode is about some of the different characters getting some.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
But let's get back to that one, but let's see what's going on with like Bad Bunny and Kid Rock, because I got a lot of heat.
Bad Bunny.
I got a lot of heat for that. I got a lot of heat for that because I actually posted something today online where I thought I gave a very professional opinion, and a lot of people agreed with me, but there were a lot of salty people that came by to you know call me names and accuse me of things, and having meltdowns and stuff like that. And it annoys me that these days you can't have a take that I think is reasonable. Like, I know some people, there's a lot of political undertone to this whole selection of Bad Bunny. I can understand why, but the thing is that I'm first of all, people may not know this, but I'm first of all, before I did anything else, from a young age, I'm a musician. So for me, music is important. And when I also in my background, I spent years where I would be like a consultant and programmer sometimes of talent at events, meaning some corporation is doing an event and they need somebody to perform there. I would, be a part of the production, a system in coming up with the right person to perform there, also facilitate bringing them, things like that. And there's a lot of stuff I talk about that I'm kind of vague about, but this is something that I would say that is, you know, I don't know if to say this second because I don't really do it now, but for years I did something like this. So I would say that it's even my field of expertise. So I'm not coming as some person that's like, oh, like I sat around with a beer watching the Super Bowl and I didn't like this or didn't like that show. I'm looking at it from the direction of if the Super Bowl came to me today and said, hey, or a few months ago and said, hey, do you think we should book Bad Bunny? Like, not for politics, just for if it's the right decision to do, my answer would be no. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want, but football is an American, game. It's an American tradition. Even if people are watching from the around the world, whatever it is,
Yeah.
the first and foremost, you focus on your home audience. And the fact that there's maybe 120 or whatever million people watching it, uh, I understand that a lot of them are not gonna turn off their TV, but you also don't want those 120 million people to suffer throughout this, halftime show. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yep.
a lot of the things that people don't take into account, they're like, why the numbers were so great. The numbers are basically people are sitting around watching it. I do think, and this is something that all the media is trying to spin all these different narratives. I actually think the turning point took away some viewers. Now, obviously, it's not going to take away 120 million, but it managed to take away probably 6 to 8 million during the halftime show. And I think that considering that they just conjured up something and they went toe to toe like versus in the first year doing it versus like the biggest event that's televised in the whole year. I think that like it takes, I don't know if to say balls or whatever you want to say it, but I see some of these kind of mainstream articles. They're like, oh, TP USA didn't manage to get the 120 million to watch. They were never going to get the 120 million. The
No.
fact that they got
No.
the fact that they got 6 to 8 million people to watch and to stop
Yeah.
watching the Super Bowl and to watch that, I think that is super impressive. It's not a football game. They don't have an automatic audience. It's the first year that they did it, and all things considered, and this is not a political thing. It's not me being like, "Oh, I like this party, I like that party." I'm just saying honestly, if you tell me there was, a group of people were watching, they managed to take away 6 to 8 million, that's not nothing. That's not
No,
nothing at
it's
all.
not. It is not at all. I mean, seriously, you're talking about people that literally had to put effort into tuning in. They didn't automatically get shown this because they were watching the Super Bowl. Unlike the halftime show. With the halftime show, people had to tune in. It's almost like the Puppy Bowl, Price. Like people have to like tune into that, right? It's not just part of what you see. Along with the Super Bowl, you have to put effort into tuning into that. And so, yes, they had to, had to switch over, had to put on their phones, or they had to, switch over to YouTube or something on their televisions. But yet the whole thing is just, it's so weird. Clearly, there was all kinds of political signaling here. There was the NFL, trying to reach a more global audience and, other stuff like that pulled into this. Supposedly, Apple was also involved in putting pressure down so they could sell more Bad Bunny albums in Apple Music. Supposedly, that was part of it. Anyway, the reality is pretty simple. They put on an artist who sang exclusively in Spanish, or almost exclusively in Spanish,
In Spanish, yeah.
for an audience of maybe 10%, 10, maybe 15 if you want to be really generous, 15% of the total audience for the Super Bowl who are native Spanish speakers. So a whole bunch of people couldn't understand a word he said. The majority, a vast majority of those listening, watching the Super Bowl, had no idea what he was talking about. So
Yep.
it's kind of ridiculous, just on its face, to say, well, we're going to bring this artist, whatever, and he's going to sing in Spanish, and then a huge percentage of our audience is not going to know what he's saying. And then there's a whole bunch of imagery of them dancing around and sugar canes in a farmhouse and stuff, and it's like a lot of people don't even know what the hell's going on because they've never been to Puerto Rico. They don't know about sugar canes and rum and you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it
absolutely.
seems extremely esoteric to the audience that they're catering to. People who are watching football. It seems very strange.
I'm going to tell you this. I was telling you that I did this for a living, like, as a profession, and this was like my field of expertise. So there were cases, let's say, and I thought about this while watching the Super Bowl. There was, let's say, a company once, and they needed an entertainer for some corporate event they had. Now, initially, my first instinct was I looked at, the billboard and things like that, and what's hot right now. And I gave them some names, and they told me none of this is going to be good for us. We couldn't care less about any of the names you just said, and they said, "Listen, we're going to have here. We need the big executives. The type of executives we want to get excited. They're in their 40s and 50s. These things that you're telling us from Billboard, nobody cares about that. You know what I mean? Now." Understanding that, what they needed, and I'm not saying that that's who I booked, but I'm saying that's the type of crowd that you bring somebody like, you wouldn't bring them Sabrina Carpenter, you would probably bring them somebody like Snoop Dogg. Okay, meaning like you need somebody to have some songs that they know what it is, and maybe they went to some clubs and heard it at some point in their lives, and you have to do something that's right for that audience. Now, there's corporate events that are also sort of captive audience, but they want to do something that caters to the kind of people that are there. I once had a corporate event that it was a company that they were very eco-friendly. Okay, they did all this eco-friendly stuff. There was an artist that I don't think I could book that artist anywhere. Like can't think of any other situation that I've booked that artist or that anybody asked me for that artist. But that artist was like an eco-friendly artist that also babbles about the eco-friendly stuff. And somehow this artist with that company was perfect. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to understand who your audience is and try to do something, that works for them. Now, when it comes to the Super Bowl, it's a difficult thing because you have people probably from like 10 years old to 90 years old watching it, right?
Mhm.
So what do? If somebody asked me about the Super Bowl, you try to find something that is, it doesn't have to be the hottest thing right now. It doesn't have to be hot on Spotify. On the contrary, usually whatever's hot on Spotify now, it means that it's like a younger demographic and things like that. When you're looking at middle America, Main Street America, all ages type of thing, it's going to be stuff that maybe personally I don't love it, or personally I don't even listen to it, or I'll tell you stuff and you won't care about it. But sometimes that's the right thing. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, they had something like Dr. Dre came out with Snoop or whatever. You know, uh, they're not spring chickens, and I told you then. I think we already talked then, or maybe not. But the reason why that show worked is because even if you don't like hip hop, even if you've never bought a hip hop album and you don't like that style and you don't care about anything, even if you live in middle America, you don't care about any of that stuff, you have heard some songs by Dr. Dre. There's no escaping it. They're going to go out and they're going to perform some songs and you're going to recognize a few of them. It's hard, very, very hard to create a situation that you won't know a few songs. That's the purpose. You need something that's like, that captures the widest net. It doesn't mean that everybody needs to get excited about what you put there. It means that you gotta somehow have people at least saying, "Oh, this is an iconic song. Even if I don't like it, I know what it is." Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like even I don't know what I'm trying to think. Like forget about. I know she's weird today, but like when they brought Madonna or whatever it is, yeah, you can say they didn't bring her when she was 20. You know what I mean? She came out. She was not. She was you know no spring chicken there either, but she had the catalog. She brought all the songs that you like or you don't like, or it doesn't matter. She came out and sang her songs and you know them. Same thing, there was something with like Katy Perry, I don't know what, and even like Lady Gaga. You have, when you have this kind of catalog that people, like it or not, know a few of your songs, that makes you a more suitable fit for the Super Bowl. This guy is, in my opinion, super like niche or whatever. I usually say niche, and people are like, you gotta say niche. I like to say niche. Fuck it. Sorry, Sean. So in any case, this guy is like, is super niche in my opinion. Yeah, he's not family friendly. You were just telling somebody he's not family friendly. He doesn't sing in English, and for most of the people, for let's say like 100 million people watching this thing in America, none of these songs mean anything to them. They don't know what it is. They don't care. It doesn't mean anything to them. They don't understand what he's saying. And I think that I'm not saying that you couldn't put this at some Grammys or something like that, but when it comes to the Super Bowl, this act is all wrong. And I have to say that even though I would tell you this regardless of any politics, I have to feel that some of the reason they put him there is a little bit of a middle finger. You know what I mean? It's interesting that this year Green Day opened the show, who, like, all they do is obsess about how much they, dislike Trump. And then you had, like, the bad.
Whoa, did we lose Price? Or did we, yep. Uh-oh. Are you back, Price?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You froze up there for a sec.
Can you
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think there may be a power outage.
Uh-oh.
Let me see what I can do.
Well, I can still hear you for the moment.
You can still hear me?
Yeah. You went out for a sec, but you're there. You're back now.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens, Professor. This is going to be an interesting experience here. I do hope they fix this quickly, or else you're going to be the host of the night. No, can you really hear me? You can hear me now?
A little hard. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, the power is back.
Okay.
But you know what I'm going to do? I am going to charge my phone as we speak. Well, I am in an area where it's really cold, so I guess that maybe had something to do with it. But in any case, what was I going to say? And you can hear me okay? The internet, everything is fine?
Yeah, you're fine. It's fine now. There, it glitched out. You disappeared for like 10, 15 seconds, and then you came back, and everything looks fine.
All right. Well, if something happens, then tell me, because now I don't know. Everything is wobbly around here. There was suddenly, I guess there was a temporary outage, but it sort of came back. So we were saying, okay, let's think about Bud Light for a second. What was the biggest mistake that Bud Light made? Do you remember?
Oh, getting those beers.
Yes, I understand. The biggest mistake was that they went for that influencer, but I'm saying, what was really the biggest mistake? Not the symptom. What was the core problem? What was the big mistake that they made? Do you know?
Well, I mean, they tried to go after an audience that wasn't the people who were really buying their beer, and they weren't trying to expand their audience. They were trying to find a new audience,
and that's the thing,
for their product.
Or to reword this, they took their audience, their clientele for granted. They basically
absolutely did. Yeah.
They said, these guys, they're idiots. They're just going to continue to buy the beer. Let's try to find new people and add new people to the idiots that already buy it. And I feel like with the Super Bowl, there was a feeling of, well, these dum-dums are just going to sit and watch whatever you put on. They're not going to get up in the middle of the Super Bowl, are they? And that's why when I tell you that, Turning Point managed to take away 6 to 8 million, I think that that's an achievement. Keep in mind that initially we were told yesterday, from what I can tell now, everybody said it's the highest thing. There's 133 million, blah, blah, blah. Today, even Nielsen are saying it was more like 124. So 9 million people that they thought were there were not accounted for. And you know who suddenly had 6 to 8 million people? Turning Point USA. So I think
and it could be more than that. Could be more than that once we add up all the different platforms and stuff. I know there's different numbers going around. I think that the numbers that matter are the numbers that were existent while the show. You know what I mean? Like, if people who are watching it later, that's not really the same thing, right? People who are watching it at the time that the halftime show was going on, those are the numbers that are really the most important. And so I think those are the numbers we have to look at, like, based on all of these different platforms, who was watching during that time and decided to watch, YouTube or Rumble or whatever other platforms they had the TPUSA show was on. How many people were watching that concurrent,
Well, I can tell
or
you because I
competitive
looked.
with
I
the
was
with the halftime.
I can already give you some numbers because I saw, like, during the halftime, I was looking, on my phone and different things, and on a laptop. I was really paying attention to the numbers because I wanted to be knowledgeable because we do talk about stuff like this here. So what I saw was, it wasn't every second. It maybe went up and down, and maybe it went more, but every time I looked, it was.
Oh, we lost Price again. No. Come back, Price. So yeah, I'm not sure which numbers he was looking at. We have seen numbers for 6 to 7 million on YouTube. There were a number of others that were watching on not other plans, other platforms like Rumble. And so yeah, it does seem like those numbers, at least the numbers that were concurrent with what was playing during halftime, were around maybe 10 million, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. Eventually we're probably going to have like some really solid numbers on that, but right now we don't really have anything. Hopefully Price is going to get rebooted and plugged back in, and we'll see him here in just a moment. But yeah, the halftime show. Oh, there's Price. There's Price. Oh,
I
can't
know.
hear you, buddy. Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So basically, listen, uh, between YouTube and Rumble, say there were 6 million at least. There were a few other places to watch it. 6 to 8 million people ended up not watching the halftime show and then watching this. Now, in some cases, I assume that they turned their TVs off. In some cases, maybe they left it on. I don't know. But all I know is that every million people, every 8 million, every 10 million people that are missing, that's big money. Advertisers that advertise, that pay for advertisements, they want people in that halftime show. They don't want 10 million people to leave, or 6 to 8 million, or whatever it is. All this stuff matters to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that and this is, I don't know if you saw my post. Did you see the post that people were whining about?
I mean, no, I don't remember it. If I did see it, it's not sticking out in my memory. So you can
Post. Okay,
feel
let me
free
let
to
me
refresh my memory and share it with the audience as well.
I'm going to share it right now. So basically, you have. This is what I wrote. I wrote, no matter how popular Bad Bunny is in Latin America, he doesn't mean much to most English-speaking American viewers due to the language barrier. Even worse, he has no crossover hits, and since he's primarily a rapper, he lacks memorable melodies or even a decent singing voice. And, you know, what happened was, people were like asking me questions and things like that. And I will say that I had some pretty interesting conversations with people. There were a lot of people that came to talk about it in good faith. There were a few weirdos that just would not, like, that they came with their own agenda. But what I talked about with a lot of people here was that it's not that you can't bring, and I did add an update because initially people like, I don't care. even if you never read the update. I stand by what I wrote initially, okay? But just because I saw people were asking, "Oh, does that mean that you wouldn't like a Latino whatever?" And I answered. I just wrote in case it wasn't clear because I saw a few people asking about it. Said it was in case it wasn't clear. I wasn't suggesting that a Latino singer couldn't perform at the Super Bowl, but it would certainly help if it was somebody with hits that are more recognizable to English-speaking American viewers. Super Bowl has traditionally featured more middle of the road type of acts that have a wide multi-generational appeal. It's not just a question of who's hot right now on Spotify amongst a younger demographic, but a much wider net. And this also comes from my experience, working in this, is that you're trying to capture a larger audience. When they brought out like Shakira to do something with Jennifer Lopez, I don't remember anybody complaining about that. I mean, I don't think that their music is that great, but they went out, they looked nice, and they sang their songs, and it was fine. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
uh, and not only that, those ladies have songs that people recognize here. Okay, you may like those songs, you may not like those songs. There are songs that you put on, I'll know that like it's a J Lo song or it's a Shakira song. It's not necessarily that it's on my playlist or I don't sit around in my own time and listen to it, but as part of like a sporting event where these ladies come out in like bikinis and sing it, I'm sure it's fine, or whatever they did. It worked out just fine. I don't remember anybody like saying one negative comment, so you can definitely do it. But at the same time, I also gave an example. There's an artist called Pitbull. Now, Pitbull is like very much a crossover act. He also does like reggaeton, like whatever Bad Bunny does. I understand that, like, compared to somebody like Bad Bunny, he's considered more of like an older. He's not like a new and hot thing. He's kind of an older guy. But you know what? Even though I don't like necessarily listen to Pitbull, I'm sure that now, like, there's songs in my mind that I know he sings it. Like, I if he comes out and does a set, he's done enough songs with, like, in English and in Spanish and whatever. He can do whatever set he wants. He can adapt to an event like this and deliver something that exactly like that kind of mainstream America. You could Main Street America. You could do that with somebody like Pitbull, and I said that in one of the comments. Somebody even asked me, and that was funny. Somebody asked me about like Julio Iglesias. Now, what I said was that Julio Iglesias today is like he's like in his 80s or something, so I don't think that today he would do it. But I will say that like in his prime, when he was like in his 40s or something, he was doing duets with American artists. He was doing cover songs in English. So yes, he speaks Spanish, and that's very much his thing. But there's a few things he has working in his favor. A, he has those duets, he has those like collaborations, which he probably could have brought out a few of his friends. You know what I mean? I assume that if he would have done a Super Bowl show, you suddenly would have seen like somebody like Stevie Wonder come out and do a song with him, or Diana Ross or something like that. He would have made it work. Do you get what I mean? Like he would have done
Yeah.
something that like works with the audience. And I also don't think that he would have wanted to be confrontational necessarily. I think that he would have done something that he understands what the audience is. Even if, let's say, he didn't care about anything and he just went and he sang by himself, the man has a good singing voice. You may like Julio Iglesias, you may not like him. I don't listen to him every day, and like it's not my thing specifically, but I recognize the man has a good voice. You know what I mean? You give him a microphone. I don't know, he's in his 80s now, although you never know. I don't know if he's retired or what he does, but I
Yeah.
mean, in his 40s, you give the man a microphone, he's going to sing. You know what I mean? Now, this is the problem with Bad Bunny that I was trying to put in my post. Forget about the politics, forget about the language, forget about everything. He's not a singer. All he does is like tika tika señorita, whatever. Like that is not like he doesn't sing anything. He does fine. Reggaeton is a style. It's fine if you like it, but he doesn't speak English. He doesn't care to do that. He doesn't care about anything. He does his thing like in Spanish. It's reggaeton, so you can't enjoy a melody. Like
Hmm.
if there's somebody singing, like let's say it's like Andrea Bocelli or something like that, you may not understand one word that guy is saying, but he has the voice. You know what I mean? Like you hear him sing,
Sure.
you're like, okay, this guy like knows how to sing. Bad Bunny couldn't sing if you know what I'm saying. Like I don't want to say life depended on it. Yeah, he couldn't sing. He doesn't know how to sing. He's not a singer. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like this whole
Sure.
selection of a guy that doesn't speak English, only does this kind of like quick rap, like reggaeton style, whatever, and he like doesn't seem to like that wants to do like the middle finger, and he's confrontational and whatever. It's too many things, and Make no mistake about it. I saw things from the Super Bowl itself. I saw the audience. Everybody was just sitting there. You know, you could try to sell all this nonsense outside of that. Most of the people that sat and watched it, whether it's home or the Super Bowl, this did not interest them. The majority of the people watching it. And if you have people that are at least 8 to 10 million are running away to watch another show in your halftime, I think that you're doing something wrong. So I know that the mainstream media is going to try to spin this in a million different directions, but ultimately, I think that Turning Point did something really impressive here. And the question is what they'll do in future years. If the NFL is going to go back to like doing what it does, getting more mainstream acts, or it's going to continue to be divisive. Even last year, when everybody was like glazing Kendrick Lamar, I said that was shitty. That was a shitty show, and it was the wrong artist to choose. And people are like, well, so many young people like Kendrick. I don't give a fuck what they like. Sorry, Sean. Like the most of the people, I think, in mainstream America, like again, mainstream America, a lot of them didn't know any of his songs. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there's a younger audience. Yes, there's a Spotify audience, but that's not the audience for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, you need something that's middle of the road. I don't think that Kendrick Lamar is middle of the road. I think that when Dr. Dre did a show with Snoop Dogg and he invited Kendrick Lamar to do like a little bit with him on a song, that I think was fine. That was the amount of dosage that I think that in an event like this, you give Kendrick Lamar. To give him the whole show, of course, people will sit with, they watch, there was numbers, there wasn't numbers. It's a captive audience. You know what I mean? Most people that are watching a football game, what are they going to do? Maybe they'll leave it on and go to the bathroom and come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this idea, let's be fair, this idea that like 120 million people tuned into Bad Bunny or to Kendrick Lamar or to whatever, it's all shit. At the end of the day, if there's teams that people like, who know who they are, and there seems to be a Super Bowl, chances are people are going to watch it. And because the population grows each year, there's usually a little more people watching it. So this idea that, oh, because of this person at halftime, they watched more, they watched less, you could put a lot of people at halftime, and most of them are still going to be able to boast a pretty decent number. Because, like I said, what you think people don't put it on the background and then just do something else? This is their like, it's a little break. You go, you grab some like, you grab another beer, you eat some, some chips or something, you eat a hot dog or whatever it is you do. You have some people take a bathroom break. If it's an artist they like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they'll make an effort to sit and actually watch it. If it's not an artist they're like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly I think at the end of the day, the NFL is making a mistake. It's taking its audience for granted. I think it has to look who are the majority of the people watching this? Who are the main demographic? And you can try to spin this anyway with the mainstream media. I do not believe that the NFL took into consideration who their main audience is. This was all some kind of, like you said, between Apple, between the Spotify, between the middle finger to Trump or whatever it is. They lost sight of what it is they need to be doing. And I think it was Matt Walsh or somebody that said that ever since they gave Jay-Z this thing, he never books like white people. You know what? I kind of think that's true. I don't know who made Jay-Z the guy that does the Super Bowl anyways. From what I remember, you know why Jay-Z got it? This is just my personal opinion. At the time, the NFL it was like, the Floyd Festival, the Summer of Love of 2020. So you had all of that going on, and then you had like corporations, quote unquote, feeling guilty, and then you had like Colin Kaepernick, who like they didn't like that he was kneeling during the flag or whatever, all that stuff and all that nonsense. And then at the end, they wanted to repair their image. So what do? They're like, we're hiring Jay-Z, because they were worried that they wouldn't be able to get like headliners for halftime, because they were running into problems. They're like, well, you do halftime. People are like, nope, you weren't nice to like whatever. You didn't do BLM or whatever it is. So at that moment, they kind of felt, okay, let's bring Jay-Z. We'll let him do everything. But you know what? I don't know. Respectfully, I don't think he should be doing the Super Bowl thing. It's also a conflict of interest. He has his own label, his own artists, his own politics. Why is he
Yeah,
the one to
exactly.
bring it? I think that it's a conflict of interest. If he wasn't in the music industry and his whole profession was that he brings acts to, events, something like I did in the past, then you could say, okay, I'm not suggesting, I understand Jay-Z is a billionaire. I'm not saying that me and him are like in league or in the same, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying that, At the end of the day, there's people that specialize in bringing talent for events. Jay-Z has his own artists, he has his own politics, and his own personal politics, and his own politics within the music industry. So I wouldn't put him there at all. At the end of the day, the Super Bowl should be something that you ask the artist if they want to do it, and the artist does it. And if the artist doesn't want to do it, fuck them. Sorry, Sean. That's just my opinion here.
Yeah, I don't get why they continue, why Jay-Z's got this locked up contract to be able to be the one with what's the name of his company? Is it
Rock Nation.
Yeah, Rock Nation. To be able to just pick the acts every time, and then basically like they can't say anything about it. Like the NFL can like complain, but they don't really get to say no, you can't pick that person. Same with some of the other sponsors.
Listen,
they can complain, but like basically him and his group get to pick whatever, and for the halftime entertainment of the Super Bowl. And frankly, I think like the last 3 shows, people have repeatedly said they sucked. They weren't any good. So obviously there's always going to be defenders. There's going to be those that are going to step out and say, it was amazing. It was the best ever. There's a couple of people in our circles, Bryce, that are arguing over it, saying, I think Paulie, over at Latino Slant was saying he loved it. And then,
I mean, to be fair,
Mike,
he probably understands at least some of the things that were said there.
Could be. Yeah, he said it was entertaining. He said it was fun. And then our friend, Mike, he streams with Doomcock frequently, does Midnight's Edge and so on. He was basically saying that he thought it was terrible, and he thought it was an absolutely awful performance.
Mikey is based. I've always liked
yes.
Mikey. I'm you know what, Mikey for in recent times he hasn't really been doing streams and stuff like that. And Mikey has even been on this channel. We once we did a surprise stream together. It's like a top secret stream that we did kind of out of left field, and he helped me with something. And I really like Mikey. I know he's really busy these days. I hope that one day we'll find a way for him to maybe join us. And it doesn't surprise me. Mikey,
I like him a lot. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that he listen, he could say he likes it, but honestly, unless you really like rap and you like what he's singing, you like reggaeton or whatever it is, and you like what he's singing, Bad Bunny, unless you're like a specific connoisseur of that, for the average American Joe that just likes to hear just like me, again, it doesn't have to be the best music in the world at halftime. Nobody said that halftime has to be the artist that you love. Honestly, the artist and the kind of music that I like to listen to, nobody's going to ever put that together. It's funny because a lot of times back, back in the day, I remember that somebody would be like, "What do you like?" I'd consult, and somebody would be like, "Well, what would you want to see there?" And I'd be like, "Let's not get into that." Like, I
let's.
I feel like you would give the same answer.
Can we have a hologram of Queen perform?
That would be fine by me. Hey, you know what? Even the Queen with a different singer is probably somewhat tolerable, more than Bad Bunny. I mean, like, listen, I don't. For me, Freddie Mercury can't be replaced. And
no, not at all.
And with that being said, I've seen a few times that they performed with that Adam Lambert guy or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not.
And no, he is not a bad singer, Price. He's not. He really, if you're going to try and continue and perform with somebody, I think he's good. He's just not Freddie Mercury.
It's a problem. I mean, the thing is that, but if I separate it, if let's say I don't think about anything, and you told me that at halftime Super Bowl, we either have Bad Bunny or Queen with Adam Lambert, no, that would work. You could say, well, he's not Freddie Mercury, blah, blah, blah. You could say all of that, and it's all true. But I still think they could get out and do some songs and people will be happy, much happier than they have anthems. Every song that they play, everybody's going to know. It's multi-generational. If I were programming and you walked into my office, let's say, and you said, "Hey, I got Bad Bunny and I got Queen with Adam Lambert. You have to choose one right now." Queen with Adam Lambert on the spot. I'm choosing. Like, it's not my favorite thing. It's not Freddie Mercury. It's not like necessarily. It wouldn't get me super excited, but it could work. You know what I mean? And I've done enough of these type of events. Like I said, It's not a matter of what I like, it's a matter of what works for the event. And that's when I posted this thing on Twitter. I think a lot of people didn't understand it. The one that really I don't want to show the person because I don't want to give attention to that person. There was one person in the comments, he's like, oh, like, because I don't know, I answered somebody about like the Shakira and J-Lo and like Pitbull and Julio Iglesias. Somebody was talking to me, so I just answered. And then they're like, he was saying, oh, that's the same thing as saying like I have plenty of black friends. It's like, no, it's not, you fucking idiot. Sorry, Sean. It's not the same as like I have many black friends. This isn't a situation that I'm inviting people to dinner and I'd say like, oh, like, I'm only willing to have dinner with Shakira. Although, although, although to be fair, I mean, I wouldn't mind having dinner with Shakira,
I would, yeah.
but I don't think that was on the table. You know what I mean? So we were talking about artists. Like if I had to choose between dinner with like, if I had to choose between Shakira, J Lo, what's his name, Pitbull, and Julio Iglesias, I think I'm having dinner with Shakira. So that would be my choice out of those four. Although Pitbull and Julio Iglesias seem like nice guys for real. In any case, so his thing of like the black friends is such a stupid, idiotic thing. And then when I kind of said, he's like, "Oh, like you're just choosing them because you think that they're safe and they're like they're more watered down, safe options." And like I didn't even answer them at this point, but I'll tell you, yes. They are safe and watered down options. That's what you need for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl isn't a place where you find like some confrontational guy that doesn't speak your language and wants to give you the middle finger. That's not where you put that guy. You know what I mean? If you like the Grammys and you like all of their activism, go watch that and let him give him 70 Grammys and you can sing his songs there if people are into that kind of thing. Super Bowl is not the venue for that. And in my opinion, if they continue down this road, it's going to be whatever happened this year. If they don't do like a U-turn for next year with something like safer and more like, middle of the road, I think that they're going to have a problem. And honestly, I think that they should part ways with Jay-Z. 2020 with the Floyd, festival. That was a long time ago. That was already then. I think that at this point they need to just move along. And if they're worried, they're like, oh, we'll offer people and they don't want to come. Then those artists that didn't want to come, they're not worth your time. There
Yep.
is some artist that's worth something that will show up to the Super Bowl and play, and at least most people will recognize one of his songs, or her songs. You can't tell me that there's nobody that's going to go to the Super Bowl and perform. I think that's stupid. I'm sure somebody's going to do it.
Oh, I think he in the Rumble chat, I think Folsom Lockdown's got it. I think that's what we need. Right there.
What?
AC/DC.
AC/DC would be fine.
That would be killer. That would, and honestly, they're just about done. But let's see, Brian Johnson's 70 something, 79 years old, 78 years old.
I mean, he's on the old side. It would have been better to bring them maybe like 20 years ago. But listen, if you ask me, like if it's Bad Bunny or AC/DC, again,
oh
AC/DC.
My God. Talk about, I mean, that would be an absolutely killer, act to have, up there performing. I mean, and I'm not the biggest AC/DC fan, but if they're up there in front of all those people playing their hits, everybody's going to be on their feet. Everybody's going to be watching that.
It's anthems, man. You
exactly.
Like, you don't like, you like it. It all doesn't matter. I'll give you a band that'll surprise you. I think that now they still perform probably, and I think they're a bit older. But if you put like, let's say, Kool and the Gang, and they come out and do like Celebration, Get Down on It, they have like a catalog. They'll do like 5-6 songs. You've heard these songs at every party you've been at in your entire life. Every like kind of wedding, every whatever that you've ever gone to have played at least some of these songs. They come out and play it. That would be a slam dunk. Now you don't have to be their biggest fan. You don't have to sit around and listen to them in your spare time. But I think that when it comes to like, not to mention that those songs that they have are played at sporting events all the time. Also even Queen that we talked about, Adam Lambert, you have We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. Perfect for that thing. You know what I mean? You have to understand what's the event, what's the tone, what's the vibe, who's watching it, and what kind of age group we have, and how do we catch as many people as we can. Now, if I had to go younger, if I had to do something now, what would I choose now if I needed to choose somebody that's not like, a newer artist, like let's say a Bad Bunny, and not like, ACDC in their 80s or whatever it is? I would choose somebody, don't laugh at me, I would choose somebody maybe like Weezer. Are you with me?
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
It's now again, it reminds me of that South Park episode that once I don't remember the quote. There was something that they're doing an event in town. This is back when South Park was like cutting edge. I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago, vintage South Park. They're trying to do an event in town, and the mayor comes by and they say, like, who do we need here as the talent? Who do we book to play music here? And she says something like, we need somebody that's not offensive, but at the same time, like, let's do something that's not offensive, but also nobody gives a shit about. And then they're like, Toto. She's like, perfect. Like, they're recognizable enough, but nobody gives a shit about them. Or some, I don't know what like.
Exactly.
I can't give like the quote, but it was basically like what you understand from that scene is like the most average, middle of the road, non-offensive shit they could plug there. That's just kind of serving the purpose of what it needs to do. So he's like Toto, and she's like perfect. And like I remember laughing at it because that's how these events are. You know what I mean? Nothing personal against Toto. By the way, Toto have some big hits. Like, again, you may not like Africa or whatever, Rosanna or whatever. Trust me when I tell you that if you book Toto and they come out and play their set, most people have heard their songs somewhere. And that's the type of act you need. You know what I don't like, that over the past maybe 3, 4, 5 years, in order to sort of protect the NFL, in order to protect Jay-Z, everybody has been playing around with these numbers. Oh, he's so great that he brought Kendrick Lamar. He's so great that he did this. He's so great that he did that. Personally, I think that people just sat down and watched the Super Bowl. You put somebody there, they watched it. And the years that have
Or they left it on while they had dinner.
they went to the bathroom and left it on. I think that people are reading much more into it. Like I said, the only time I saw in recent years a significant drop, even though all the media is not going to say it, and I'm not just saying it to be nice. I'm not saying it to be like to anybody's feelings or anything like that. I in real time saw that, like, between YouTube and Rumble, there were 6 million viewers. Plus, there were a few other avenues you could watch. 8 million minimum. I think 8 to 10 million, or at least 6 to 8 million, got up and left and watched. And now Nielsen are saying that when they said the 133 million, it's not true because it was 124. So there's a discrepancy.
Yeah.
All these guys can spin all they want, but those millions of people that went to the other show had to have, like, come from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's and for me, I think that they need to really stop this and learn a lesson. The NFL, like I said, they'd be wise to part ways with Jay-Z. They'd be wise to start booking these kind of middle of the road acts. Who knows? I don't know if it'll happen or not, but and also enough with all the politics. Enough. It's not a coincidence that they brought him. It's not even a situation that they're like, oh, there's so much merit here. They wanted the middle finger guy. You know what I mean? The same way that Green Day came to open the show, so they can all give like the middle finger. I don't care if you like Green Day or Bad Bunny, or even if like you want to give middle fingers. That's your right. You know what I mean? It's a free country. You can do all of that. But the Super Bowl should be more of a uniting event. It should be, like I said in the South Park thing, that it should be something that's like non-offensive. It should be something that unifies, that everybody, even if everybody doesn't love it, if everybody kind of likes it, it's better than just having a guy that's confrontational and speaks to such a low amount of people, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think the strategy that with Jay-Z and the artists that he's been picking is really paying off. I really don't.
The other thing I wanted to tell you, and that's what nobody ever talks about, is that I think they're like, oh, in this year, let's look at the past 10 years, and this year was that, and that year was that. What they usually don't tell you is sometimes you have a year that the two teams that are like, got to the Super Bowl are less appealing to people. There have been years like that, and once there's two teams that people don't really care about, it keeps people interested less. Like this year was the New England Patriots. Even people that only watch the Super Bowl and don't care about football, don't whatever, that's a brand name. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, I don't know if I can say the same about like the Seattle Seahawks, but I'd say like the New England Patriots. That's like, big name. If you have like a NBA kind of championship thing series going on, and you have like the Memphis Grizzlies versus, I don't know, Charlotte Hornets, or you have like the Lakers versus the Celtics, which one do you think automatically right out the gate is going to have more viewers?
Yeah,
You get
the
what I'm
teams
saying?
with name recognition, no
Of
question.
course. Just even people that don't watch it and don't give a shit and don't care about it hear the Lakers and the Celtics, that's like, that's like two teams with history. That's a historic rivalry. So let's watch this thing.
Hmm.
Even for me, I don't know what at what point, like, uh I can't remember. It wasn't like yesterday, but I'm saying in the past decade or something. I think there was a moment there was like a Lakers and Celtics. I think Kobe Bryant was still around, and I ended up watching that series because it's the Lakers and the Celtics, and I watched it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it's like sometimes you have teams that lure people in, and sometimes you have teams that don't. So I think that if you looked at the list, what none of these kind of media shills and all these weirdos, they never write who the teams were, how popular that game was. They're all like, oh, and this year this happened, and that year that happened. I mean, it's all. I think people look at these numbers to more than they should, and the thing that really matters here is what's the sentiment. And if you ask me, probably this is just my instinct. 70% of Americans that watched that Super Bowl probably saw the halftime and thought it was annoying. And if you got like 70% of the people thinking, well, that's kind of annoying, then you haven't done your job. And that's my main point
Sure
here.
enough.
And yeah, and I don't want to highlight that person. Like at the end, I just didn't answer him anymore. He doesn't deserve my time. I'm really sick, like of people just having meltdowns, whatever. Nothing I said here was offensive. I said the truth. This is a very professional analysis, this tweet.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't talk even about the politics. I just said he doesn't sing. Even if this guy was like Mr. Middle Finger to the Orange Man, whatever it is, but he had like a voice like of like, the biggest crooner, the smoothest voiced ever, I'd say, well, you know what? The guy can sing. I'll give you an example. I think Lady Gaga is annoying. I mean, she had a half a song here, and I don't really like her music. Uh, but like when she did her full halftime show, she knows how to sing, and she has songs that at least I recognize. Not my cup of tea, but and I don't like her politics, or I don't like whatever. But still, I can say that she could sit there and sing in English and sing some songs that people know. He didn't have that even going for him. He had like when you do like pros and cons, it's all cons. He didn't have one pro.
Hmm.
Like, okay, I'll give you another final example. A few years ago, there was this song. It's the most annoying song in the world. Okay, that Desposito song. It's super annoying, but they kept playing it here on American radio. I recognize the song, and even though I think the song is not my cup of tea, and again, nothing is my cup of tea of all these things, uh, and it doesn't speak to me. I'll say this: the song has a melody, and the people that were singing it knew how to sing. It's not something that I want to hear, but it was people that could carry a tune. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you could say it's cheesy and stupid and I don't like it, but it was played in every place. Everybody knows that song, and at least they have the voices to back up whatever it is. So even if those guys had political views that I don't know or care about or whatever, and they did a few songs that people recognize, at least you could say, well, they have songs that people recognize. The same way, this is really stupid. It's just somebody I think put him in my comments, and it was funny because I hadn't thought of this guy in a while. You remember that there was this guy? I can't even remember the guy's name. Remember that Gangnam Style Psy? That was his name.
Yeah, sigh.
So yeah, I mean that was a stupid song. I don't like it and whatever, but the song was big. You know what I mean? If he had a few songs and he came out and he did it, even though it doesn't speak to me, he could probably put on a show. He could at least this guy, and I'll sum it up, has nothing going for him. Name one thing. What does this guy bring to the table? Nothing.
Hmm.
Spotify. Okay, Spotify, but that's not the audience for this. So that's and when it comes to Kid Rock, just to give a little bit of thoughts of the TPUSA, listen, it's not that I sit around and listen to Kid Rock either. I think that from what I saw, the people in that TPUSA at least made an effort. It was a little more rock and roll. It had a little more character in it. It felt more American. I'll give it all of that. it's not necessarily also, and then maybe I'm just a weirdo. It's not necessarily that that is 100% my style of what I would want to see in a halftime show either, but at least if nothing else, it had more of an American vibe. I'll give it that. And I appreciate the effort. I appreciate that they got together and they said, "We're doing this now." I do appreciate it, but again, you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Like
Yeah, I just, yeah. Overall, it just feels like
well, a lot of bands that I
there
like.
were reasons. There were reasons that they chose this that had nothing to do with entertaining people.
No,
You
no,
know.
this was a very middle of the middle finger type of thing. The real head case says, "Price of Reason Live. Tell us one band you like." Okay, um, I like Alice in Chains. The problem is their lead singer, is no longer with us. They have a different lead singer. It's not quite the same, but the original singer, like that. That's awesome. I like the Stone Temple Pilots. Again, that singer no longer with us. I liked Soundgarden again, and Chris Cornell. He would have been fantastic. He would have been fantastic. Just such a great singer. Unfortunately, not with us as well. Uh, I'll give an example. As much as I think that Eddie Vedder can sometimes, and this is my own personal opinion, it can be like a pompous fart these days. If he came out with Pearl Jam and did like 5 songs from the album 10, I think that could work. Even with all how much he's annoying, if he comes out and does songs from 10 as a Super Bowl halftime show, I could live with it.
Sure.
So yeah, what
Yeah.
what would you choose, Professor?
Oh, it would have to be, if I were anything interesting, it would have to be some classic rock. Honestly, uh, again, not the biggest fan of AC/DC, but that's a hell of a recommendation, right? I mean,
No, not
those
bad.
are
Not bad. They could work for
those
sure.
are showmen. They will go out there and they will put on a hell of a show,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
And they, like you said, they got a bunch of anthems.
Anthems.
That everyone is going to be able to get out there. The people who haven't listened to AC/DC ever are going to go, "Oh, I know this song. I know Thunderstruck. I've heard that." Right? That would be one of those, like, it would cross generations, would cross all sorts of different groups. Again, I'm not the biggest person listening to music. I kind of like what I like when I listen to music. It's usually going to be some classic rock. It's going to be stuff from 60s and 70s. It's going to be Beatles. It's going to be Rolling Stones. It's going to be stuff from those ages. There's some stuff later on, 70s into the 80s also, that I'm going to be listening to. There's going to be other bands there as well, Led Zeppelin and so on. I'm tuned to those. If I feel like, something a little bit different, might be tuning into some prog rock, might be listening to some Rush. I don't know. It just depends on what I feel like in the moment. There's lots of great artists out there. But yeah, it's a lot of those obviously not going to be performing at the Super Bowl. So I'm probably not the best person to pick, but yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to mention Price. We got some super chats we got to get to, buddy.
Yeah, let's do that. So
Good
we
on you.
start off. First of all, thank you. The Dead Man is a friend of the channel. The Dead Man has his own channel where he does Star Trek, and that's why I guess one of his messages at least is about Star Trek. He wrote, "I watched your review of Starfleet Academy. One pushback: it's possible that symbiotes could extend their lives with this tech."
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Dead Man. It is entirely possible that the symbiotes that you mentioned in the video, kind of that in canon, it's been established that they typically only live a maximum of 600 to 800 years. That was kind of discussed in some of the episodes. And that Dax at the time was already in DS9 already 300 years old. So that she would be around 1,000 years later, that Dax, not he or she, but Dax would be around 1,000 years later, seems a little ridiculous. Now, if that's true, if the technology was there to help extend the life of that character, that's totally fine. But what that is headcanon, right? That's just you're just making up excuses for why this would be okay.
If they explained it, if they at least had a throw,
bingo,
yeah, exactly.
bingo, yes. if they explained it. They said, well, how are you still here? Well, medical technology has made some incredible advancements, or something like that, right? Like, you don't just throw out canon, you don't just throw out this stuff and just like, oh, how are they here all of a sudden? It's just like the ridiculousness that happened with the Acolyte, right? Where you had the character Ki Adimundi, who by all accounts would not have been there in the previous canon, in established comics and other stuff that was there, and they just decided, oh yeah, actually no, his race lives for 400 years. They just decided this, like, just to change it for the hell of it, because they wanted to show that character in the episode. And
I,
this is the same thing here. They just decided, to hell with it. We want Dax to be in this episode, so we're just going to put her in there, even though by established canon, the symbiote that is Dax wouldn't still be around.
Yeah, and the thing is that there's a few things that I have to say about it, coming from a different place. First of all, just forget about the franchise and Star Trek and everything. You know, we don't necessarily need if
Oh,
if they were worth anything, these writers, they'd be introducing us to a whole group of people that we've never seen before, give us new stories, new characters, new world building, but they're not capable of doing anything. It's like it only exposes what the losers that are working on this show, that not only they pillage what happened in the past that worked, they're not smart enough to do anything with it, and they only ruin the lore, which they don't even bother checking. It's a real disgrace, in my opinion.
yeah, it's pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic.
Like that's it. Why do we even need to be talking here about Cisco at all? This is supposed to be 1,000 years in the future, and we need to be obsessing about like Cisco and about like Dax. It's pathetic, in my opinion. And you know what? Here's another thing. If you created a show and after a few seasons that you've established your own lore, your own characters, your own audience, you're like, well, we already have that going on here. Let's do a little bit of a wink. You know how there was I think it's again, I've watched every episode except for Voyager of Star Trek and all these shows. Wasn't there an episode, I think this was in Deep Space 9, that they revisited the Tribbles episode?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they didn't
Trials and
right.
tribulations. Yeah.
They didn't do that on day 1. You know what I mean? They did that when they were established enough. And in what season did they do that? That's kind of
Oh,
when
that
did they do that
was
episode?
well. That was to celebrate the 30th anniversary. So yeah, I think that was season 5, near the end of season 5. I
Exactly.
could be wrong.
They already had
Yeah.
an established show. It wasn't nobody was like, it wasn't going to move the needle really for people with like Deep Space 9 at that point. The people that were in it, that were already like on board, this was a tip of the hat that was something nice for fans, and I think that that's what they did. Now, if you wanted to do something like that after you establish your own show and show that you're not an idiot and you can think of some original ideas, then sure, you want 3, 4, 5, you do a little something, you do an episode that you kind of talk about Cisco. But right out the gate, in episode like 5 of your shitty show, you're already like going to the pantry to try to raid stuff and ruin stuff that you had nothing to do with because you suck and you don't have any original ideas, and you're the biggest hack in the universe. That's what bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was season 5, episode 6. So yeah, it wasn't. I thought it was a little further on in the season, but yeah, it was
The
season
real
5.
headcase says the real Dax is fine as fuck. Yes, Jadzia Dax.
Boo, yeah.
That is, she was fantastic. I'll be honest, and I feel bad. I never really because I like Terry Farrell so much in that role. I never really connected with Ezri Dax.
Yeah.
Although I'll take Ezri Dax over whatever this Dax was in this Cardassian Dax, whatever that was. I would
agreed.
and you know what's funny? You know what made me laugh? That I saw an interview that they talked to the lady that that Tandy Newsom or whatever her name is, and
Yes.
they said, is it like somebody that was interviewing her for one of those Star Trek's website that are shills or whatever it is, but I assume that maybe at least the person interviewing them was knowledgeable about something, and they said, is she just Cardassian or she is also Bajoran? And she's like, no, she's just Cardassian. And that reminded me that when I looked at her, she didn't really look Cardassian to me. I think that you nailed it. You explained why she didn't look it, because usually you see the kind of neck veins and her neck was covered. So I couldn't, with her hair kind of sitting in front of her face and her neck covered with a sweater, the Cardassian to me wasn't obvious. You know what I mean? And they weren't doing like a real close up at that point, or I didn't look at her close up. So I was like asking you, could that be a Bajoran? I asked the same thing, and you're like, nope, it's just Cardassian.
Yeah, they didn't show the neck ridges, which that if she is, and they were implying that she was of a blend, species, cross species, that she was both Trill and Cardassian. It's entirely possible that those ridges went away. We have seen other cross species. Specifically, there was a recurring character who was Bajoran and Cardassian that we saw, but she still had some of the ridges, but she also had the nose ridges as well, like a Bajoran. So yeah, I think they were going for hybrid racial traits there, which is why she didn't look quite as obviously Cardassian maybe. But yeah.
I think it was stupid to
It was a
make her a
weird choice.
Cardassian or a Bajoran. I think that they should have just made, like, it should have been the same thing that we got before. I don't know why they're like, they love all this kind of mixing around with the races. Oh, like half Klingon and half Jemadar. Just shit and a female. Shit that doesn't even work. Like the Chironian girl. Like all that stuff is so stupid. Argentum says Jadzia better than Ezri. I think most people would agree. I
I love Terry Farrell in that role. It was incredibly sad to see her go, and an absolutely beautiful woman, and I greatly enjoyed her performance as that character over those years. And it was a huge injustice for her to be for her to be removed from that show the way that she was, because of the negotiations and some of the hard feelings with Rick Berman. But on the other hand, I will say, I think under the circumstances, Nicole de Boer did a great job. She was gracious. She was fun. She did her best to try and bring something different to the character. And she's incredible with the fans. She's just a really gracious and kind person. And so, yes, I agree. If I'm gonna have to say, pick one Dax, it's gonna be Terry Farrell without a question.
Yes, I
But
agree.
Nicole de Boer has been an incredibly kind and generous person. She loves her fans, and I think she was in a rough spot to have to take over that character for a single season, having to build up the character and tell the story of who she was as her version of the character that was written for her. And so I have to give her credit for the work that she did there.
Under the circumstances, I think she did a really good job. I don't have anything against her. It's just that, I like Terry Farrell in that role so much that, like, I have this feeling of disappointment until now, and I feel bad because she Nicole did the best she could. I don't think that
Exactly.
I don't hate her, you know what I mean? I don't hate her or Ezri or the job that she did. It's just like, it was very difficult shoes to fill, and like you said, she only got a season. It's not like she had, like, a number of seasons to build some kind of, rapport here. Terry Farrell was just amazing in that role, so it is what it is, I like I said, and you also said she's nice with fans, and she seems really nice. So it's not to take anything from Nicole away, but yeah, Jadzia, like, I like Terry Farrell. That's for me. That's I like that better.
Yeah, yeah. And I would bet anything, if you were to meet Nicole de Boer, she'd be like, "Yeah, I get it." Like you had like 6 seasons to like fall in
Right. I
love
mean,
with
exactly.
Jadzia Dax as a character, and then she married Worf, and then we got to see all of everything there, and then like
Right. Right. It was
I have to come in and take over for a season, right? Like
right.
I think she would get it too, right? She would understand why people would have the connection that they do with this other actress. And so yeah, well, like I said, I just have to give her credit for for the work that she did do. Yes, it was deeply saddening, deeply unfortunate for her to see her leave the show, and for them they didn't even try to do it gracefully. It was clearly the way that they had her exit the show was done vengefully. The producers, Rick Berman,
Yes.
was very angry about the way that things went and wanted to make sure that she was killed off in a
I didn't like it.
nasty fashion. In a
Yes.
nasty fashion, they wanted to make sure that happened and that there was no question that she was never coming back. Right. They could have had, oh, she got reassigned or she got lost. She was lost in a mission. Maybe we'll find her again. They could have done any number of different things with it. But yeah, they went the way that they did, and I think it was rather nasty on the part of the producers the way they just decided to go.
Yes. Hold on a second.
Oh, power go out
I
again?
No, 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 I didn't. I was saying that, the dead man sent another, super chat that I didn't see, that he was asking if I could share his link. So give me a second and try to
Yeah,
make
and,
this
we
work.
got a few others here too. So while you're working on that, I'll move on to the next one here. We've got so we talked about the dead man's first one here, talking about it is
Radio blah blah? Do you mean Radio
yeah.
Gaga?
y-
I don't know what he's
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. I think it's about Radio Gaga. Well, they say Radio blah blah in the in the lyrics too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Radio Gaga could work, but I'd rather not. Says the dead man. So yeah, no, I don't. I was joking about bringing artists back as holograms. I think that's a terrible idea. Do I think it's going to happen eventually?
One day, yeah.
I genuinely do. I think they're going to try and bring back acts, through holograms and AI and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think it's a terrible idea. He also, Dead Man, in his next super chat here, pitched some ideas for some performances here. So, The Killers, Black Crows, Black Keys, Three Doors Down, since Matchbox 20, I would assume. Matchwatch 20.
John Malone was
Uh,
saying, "Is there anybody
yeah.
with a wrench here?" We have a few people with a wrench, they're just not here for whatever reason. But, let's look at this. So, sorry, you were saying, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Professor.
No, I was just talking about some of the stuff that Dead Man was talking about there
Let me
for the
try to
different
find
artists that
the
he was pitching.
dead man's, channel for a second so I can share it. Okay, I'm looking for it right now, and then let me see. Is it I think it's this one here. So I'm sharing it now. The dead man, tell me if this is the right one. Unless I'm
Yeah.
just, sending people to some other random dead man, but I think that this one, to all. Okay. Are you ready? Let's
Go
see if
for
it
it.
worked. Tell me, the dead man, if this was the right thing to do. The Killers, Black Rose, Black Keys, Three Doors Down, Matchbox 20. Those are middle of the road options that probably could work. None of them are like my especially cup of tea, but all of them would work better than Bad Bunny. You know, those are the type of bands that I could see them being there.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the Dead Man. So he did 499 with Starfleet Academy, 499 with Radio Blah, 199 with Radio Blah Blah, 499 with the Killers, Black Rose, and those suggestions, and 199 with asking to put it in. Yeah, so apparently that's the one, and yeah, cool. So just you guys should check it out and should subscribe to the Dead Man. The Dead Man is a friend of the channel, and yeah, I he's doing his own thing, and you guys should should check out what he's doing. So where were we, Professor? What's on our docket today?
Oh boy, I think the next thing here is we might want to talk about some of the trailers, some of the new things that we've seen, some of the new movie trailers that we got during the Super Bowl, including Ooh, Mando and Grogu, Supergirl. Oh, we did get one really good trailer price. Still excited.
What is
Still
it?
excited for Project Hail Mary. I
I saw.
know there's been some people complaining, saying maybe the trailer's revealing a little bit too much, but I gotta say, for somebody who's read the book, I get it, but yeah, the you got to sell the movie to people. There's going to be a lot of people who don't know what to expect, and so yeah, uh, let's pull up the Mando and Grogu trailer here. We can watch that for a few minutes. Well, for as long as it is, anyway.
All right.
Here, let me go ahead and you can share my screen here, Price.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. Oh, come on. You want to work. I know you do. Here we go. All right. So there we have a new spot that premiered during the Super Bowl. Let's see if we can get the audio working here. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but yeah, here we go.
Sometimes we choose our path. Other times the path chooses us. Through it all, we keep pushing forward, driven by a deeper purpose, guided by an unseen force.
Oh, okay. So clearly, what we're going for here, what they're going for the Clydesdales beer commercial kind of thing. I get it. I get the joke, but oh my goodness, this just is this the best they got? Is this? We got, the member berries with the tauntauns out here tromping through the snow, and the music. We've got the voiceover here.
Forward, driven by a deeper purpose, guided by an unseen force. The journey never gets any easier. The bond just gets harder to break. This is the way.
Only in theaters and IMAX May 22nd.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's an interesting take. Yes, so that's Sam Elliott. Yes, it does sound like that's Sam Elliott doing the voiceover. I don't think that would be anybody else. It could be a sound alike, but yes, it does sound as though that's Sam Elliott. And again, yeah, clearly they were going for the, Budweiser, the Clydesdales, whatever, kind of a thing where they're out there tromping through the snow, pulling the carriage with the, riders behind it. But I don't see what they were going for here. I don't know who saw this and said, damn, I can't wait to see that movie. Like, again, it's just like, oh, look, member berries, tauntauns. I remember tauntauns. Woo, tauntauns. And then they have them riding in this floating carriage back there. It's got Grogu, which most people out there still call him Baby Yoda. They don't even know who Grogu is because they didn't really follow the series. And then, we just have this ridiculous, like, not connected to the movie thing. And
So stupid.
Again,
Lucasfilm
I
are
totally,
stupid, yeah.
I totally get what they were going for. There was a tongue-in-cheek thing they were shooting for with, we've got this, we've got these characters and we're going to try and turn this into a version of one of these beer commercials or whatever, but for this. But I don't understand the inclination for this here. I don't understand what audience they thought they were connecting with, that we're going to do this goofy commercial for the first Star Wars movies in what, 7 years, 8 years by the time it comes out. They're not taking this more seriously. It's just a joke.
This whole thing is so weird, this movie. It's weird that it seems like nobody has put in any real effort into it. I'm trying to think. The only thing I was thinking to myself is there's a few different options. One, they want it to not succeed for whatever reasons. That's one option. The other thing is that they did it on the cheap, and they're just thinking, we'll release it. Hopefully, a few people will see it with their kids, and it'll just make some money. And we did it on the cheap. Because if they filmed it like a few episodes and they just released it to the theater, maybe they'll be like, hey, it's worth it for us. We put it in the theater. It's not too expensive to make this one. It has enough recognition. We'll get some money from the theatrical release. Then we'll put it on streaming, and that'll be fine. Maybe that's their strategy. I don't know. But they still could have done better with this commercial. All they really needed, show a few spaceships in the air firing a few things, so show somebody even with his stupid whatever, that Mandalorian sword, whatever it is, the dark saber, whatever it is that he has. Show him doing something that looks like a little action orientated. Show Grogu doing something with the force that looks a bit cool. There were really options here, and it's like they don't want to do anything. They're not doing even the minimum here.
No, just a goof. They spent, how much were the ads? Their 30-second spot this year price? These ads were almost $10 million.
Yeah, spent $10 million on nothing.
30-second spot for nothing, for absolutely nothing. I don't know if this is bringing anyone to this movie who wasn't already convinced they wanted to see it. And I'm not even sure what audience there is going to be for this movie price. I really, I feel like a lot of people are just going to sit this one out because they know it's going to be on Disney Plus in a month. I could be wrong. But I mean, I don't see huge audiences turning out for this. Yeah, maybe they get some family audience. They get the moms, the wine moms with the kids. But yeah, it's not, I don't think it's drawn in anyone new who hasn't already been hasn't already been interested in seeing this. So, yeah. Well, did you see any other stuff that you were interested in, Price? Some people were mentioning trailer for Sheep Detectives, or I mean, we already watched the one trailer. Was there a new one? I didn't. I hadn't seen a new one.
What were we looking? We saw. There's something with James Gunn, Supergirl with the Krypto.
Yes.
Because now they're trying to do a Baby Yoda. They're like, oh, it's Baby Krypto.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? It reeks of desperation. Until now, their marketing was like, look how awesome she's a girl boss. They saw that wasn't working. They're like, look how cute Baby Krypto is.
Yep. So we got this clip that we've already kind of seen a bit of this before, Price, because we saw there's this funeral or whatever that they're. Oh, the big reveal. We get Puppy Krypto. Oh, yep. Puppy Krypto. There remains nothing about this that I find interesting at all. It is another trailer. Again, almost nothing in here is new. There's this bit with the puppy. That's new. But that's it. The rest of it is stuff we already saw in the previous trailers. The previous preview that was out there. We don't get any new views of the villain or of Lobo or anything like that. We get the same quotes that we got before. Oh, this is going to go bad for you. And the whole cynical, oh, he sees the best in people. I see the truth, right? All of this cynical stuff in there. You know what? If I want cynical white women, the social media is full of those. I don't really need to go to the movies theater to see that. But yeah, this is not something that's drawing me in. I don't know about the rest of you. I don't know about you, Price, but it's not. This is not selling me. Just having a CGI puppy in there is not going to do anything for me.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this, but I do think that they tried to go the Baby Yoda route. So that's why when I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's like Baby Yoda versus Grogu. Baby Yoda versus Baby Krypto. But the truth is, both of these I don't think are gonna get the desired effect. With with Baby Yoda, I think after the first season of Mandalorian, there was some momentum there and there was popularity for the character, but all of that goodwill has been spent. And when it comes to Gunn, I think that they already pushed it as this kind of girl bossy Supergirl movie, which annoyed people. And I was like, no, no, look at this cute dog. I don't know if that strategy is going to work either.
Nope. I mean, obviously they think it is. I was just looking up what the actual. I had heard 10 million for 30 seconds. I was curious what the cost was for the actual ads. Yeah, over 10 million for a 30-second spot. $8 million on average. Wow, that's insane. That they put together this little ad that reveals nothing more than, oh look, there's a puppy. And
yeah, the ad
they
says
spent
nothing.
$10 million to put it out.
They're like, oh, didn't you want to see the baby Krypto? To me, it seems desperate, if you ask me. I feel like in both cases, okay, out of Mandalorian and James Gunn's Supergirl, I think that Supergirl has done commercials that at least give me a feeling that I understand what's going to be in that movie. It's not necessarily what excites me, but at least I understand what's going to be there. With Mandalorian and Grogu, until now, I'm still puzzled as to what that movie is. Like, there is no trailer, there is nothing that's been shown about Mandalorian and Grogu that suggests that it's going to be a good movie. There's not one thing that's been shown in these trailers until now to generate any kind of interest.
No, not at all. Agreed. I don't think there's anything that we've seen so far that's really going to be a big draw. I just don't. As to what the story is going to be for Mando and Grogu, we really don't know yet. That one just sounds like they're going to try and do a TV plot. They've pulled together a few scripts from a season of the TV show. They're going to make an hour-and-a-half movie out of it. Their promotion so far of it has been very strange. The way they're doing the logos and the way they're doing the trailers, the way they're doing the promotion for it. We're going to see plenty more in the coming months, obviously, since it's coming out this summer. We're going to see a lot more as they try to promote that movie, but I don't get what audience they're going for. Clearly, it's not traditional Star Wars fans. They're going for something else in the way that they're making this, because they're not making it feel cinematic. They're not making it feel like an event. It's just like, we're doing an episode of Mando and Grogu, but we're doing it in the theater. And then some of the stuff that they showed in the earlier trailers doesn't even make sense, you know? We have walkers in the snow. Member berries. You remember walkers in the snow? But this time they're climbing up a cliff and one of them falls off the cliff. If it's such a treacherous path, why are they using walkers on a cliff? Because we have spaceships.
I have a feeling
speeders.
It's going to be a disaster, that movie. It just feels that way. You know how sometimes you have that instinct? I mean, listen, one out of two things is going to happen, or one out of three things. One, out of left field, it'll be awesome. But I think that the odds of that happening are about 1%. Then you have a situation where it's going to be mediocre, but because of the name and Grogu, it'll have enough parents bringing their kids and watching it. Maybe if they invest not a gazillion dollars on it and make maybe a few $100 million, they could still argue that it's a success and then put it on Disney Plus using a model of like, let's roll it out to theater, get some money, and then put it on Disney Plus. So they could still try to spin it as something good that's happened. But I can't help but feel that there hasn't been one shot in these two trailers, whatever it is, there's not one thing that created any kind of interest or excitement, which is weird because, like, as much as you hate, like, you don't like Star Wars these days, and a lot of people have just given up on it, if you show some, like, a few ships, some battles, something, some sabers, something, if you show something that at least, and it looks cool and has some cool music and it, like, seems, like, interesting, you could lure at least a few people to go see it. You know? If you had something.
Sure.
Like, if for some reason there was like a guy with like a red lightsaber, I don't know why would somebody would be that, and he has his dark saber, and I don't know why they're battling, what they're doing. You'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Like, just show anything, really. Like, is it really that difficult that they can't come up with one shot from this movie that's going to get people excited? To me, it means that they don't have it. They just don't have a shot that's interesting.
I think I'd have to be with you there. I don't think they have anything that is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see exactly, what is happening with both of these films. I don't get their strategy for what they're going for with Mandalorian and Grogu, other than they're going for the wine moms and the childless old cat ladies with Grogu tattoos. They want them to come see the movie, and I'm not sure who else they're after, but who knows?
Who doesn't have a script yet? Karate Werewolf is saying they don't have a script yet for the movie for Mandalorian and Grogu. Anything is possible. I don't know. Sometimes those companies, they just film without a script. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think they have I don't think there is or will ever be a finished script for Doomsday. I think they will put that movie together. They will assemble it out of bits and pieces that they've shot here and there. There will never be what you could call a finished script for that film. And I think we're already seeing, did you hear the rumors about that film now, Price?
Which one?
That they've about Doomsday, that they've canned 15% of their staff because they're running out of money. They've fired 15% of their staff because they're running out of money on Doomsday.
On Doomsday?
Yep.
I did not know that. We have a few more super chats, so I want to highlight.
Yeah,
them.
we should get to those.
1 second. Let me try to pull this up. So, I forgot to tell you, I saw an early screening of a movie. I didn't even put it in the thumbnail. But I will in a second.
Well, we'll have to get to that.
Yeah, no, it's something interesting, actually. It's funny because of that Star Trek thing, I missed actually an opportunity to see. There were a few movies that I could have seen, and I missed the opportunity to see them because I had to finish that review. Like, I don't think that people understand how much work that review is. Like, you probably think, oh, it's really easy to do a review like that for the Star Trek thing. It is a lot of work. I've done reviews. I've done a lot of reviews over time and a lot of videos. These are on the higher end of how much time it takes me to make a video.
I believe it. It's rough.
Did it share? Oh, okay. So, we first of all have from GraphWeb, we have $2, and then it's for fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus, so I have to sing it, even though it's a late hour.
Yes.
Let me see what I can do. For fuck's sake, yeah, cancel Disney Plus. Oh, my throat is a bit sore. Let me drink something. Hold on.
You got to give it your all, Price. You gotta.
I'm gonna try. It's a late hour.
Get that instrument in shape here.
For fuck's sake, yeah, cancel Disney Plus. Oh, that's the most you can get in the middle of the night out of me. I'm doing my best here. It's also really cold, the weather and stuff, but I tried my best, and thank you for the $2 super chat.
And everyone, please take GraphWeb's advice.
Yeah,
cancel
definitely.
It. Again, there's only one reason that we still have it, and that's because it cost us $1.
Right. They do all those slippery things.
Yeah, it costs us $1 to have that over, having another service. So, and then of course, obviously reviewing stuff on various channels. that I need to watch. But yeah, it's you know, why most people will still have it, I couldn't tell you, except for if you have kids that want to watch Bluey.
Yeah, that probably makes money for them. Let's see. So then we have another one. We have Karate Werewolf with a $2 Shiba Inu dog. What is that?
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
Shiba Inu.
So thank you very much, Karate Werewolf, the man with the wonderful screen name. And then we have Jason Webster with $2 Australian. More of Guns Guardians of the Superman Galaxy, 100%. That's absolutely what it is. And
Yeah, that is, and it looks like it too. I mean, obviously he's not listed as the director for this film, but God, the parallels cannot be ignored. It's there's so much of what you see in there with the music cues and oh, she's this rough and tumble down on her luck, banging around the dirty side of the galaxy kind of thing. Like it's just it has all of those cues. Everything in there just feels like a typical James Gunn. Yeah, just another remake of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Caleb Levine said, sing it like Eddie Vedder. Let me try. For fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus. I tried. I could probably. Oh, for fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus. Or something like that.
There you go.
Again, this is middle of the night, really asking a lot of me at this hour, but I tried my best. Yes, Tim Hayes, I did try my best. I can do this better, but after a whole day and after, we're blabbing here for a few hours, it's a little more difficult. But, best warble price.
Mass Gravy says you added too many consonants.
That's probably true. But, yeah, I actually
should be more mumbled and unintelligible.
For fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus. Cancel Disney Plus and no. Ooh, yeah. But, needs to be more mumbled and unintelligible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was many, many years ago, when I was in a few bands, and sometimes I would perform a few songs like by Pearl Jam. Now I think that I'm kind of like, I think that my voice probably can't carry them as well, but if I had to, I could probably perform something. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, especially in the early 90s, I liked what Eddie Vedder did with his voice. Over time, I think it became more mumbly and more kind of, watered down and mumbly. But early on, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. It's funny because I was on a stream with Erwin, and he was like, "Oh, can you sing like Creed?" I don't know what, and it came out really bad because I had never tried to sing that song like that. Can you take me higher? What? How does it go? Can you take me higher? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
For middle of the night, it was somewhat passable. Yellow Ledbetter, nobody understands one word he says in that song, that's for sure. So then what's the other? Okay, we saw all 3 super chats, so thank you for that.
Yep.
And
we have 2 more. We can save them or we can come back.
No, let's do it. I never want to make people wait. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, let's do this. I am ready for the screenshots. Screenshot, okay. Let's see. Okay, and now it's time for Koalas in the Rain. So again, that's something like koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, something like that.
Yep.
Koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Something that's, I don't think that they sing anything else. I think that's what it is.
No, that's about it. Yeah.
Let's see.
Some koalas in the rain.
So I do think my Creed this time was better than the one I did for Irwin because I don't know. I feel like this time it was a little better. Again, he has his own voice. I can't really, exactly emulate it, and especially not like at 1:35 a.m. for me, but did my best. And then we have and that's a 199 from the Dead Man. Thank you as always, friend of the channel, the Dead Man. Jason Webster, also very generous Australian $5. Can we please ship Kurtzman and Gunn off to work on Rebel Moon 3? Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. We can make that happen. Maybe.
You know what I think?
I can't, but I think that would definitely be preferable to the other work that they continue to do.
You know what I want to see? I think that you should send Kurtzman and Gunn together to go work on Gossip Girl, like the next generation of Gossip Girl. Let them do that,
Gossip
or
Girl,
like
the next generation.
Dawson's Creek, the next generation, whatever it is. Let them go do that. They want to do a bunch of people talking about their feelings and whining and whatever, especially Kurtzman. Kurtzman, I think the only thing, I don't even think he could do a competent Gossip Girl, but you know what? That's up his alley. That's the only thing that maybe he could do. Even that'll be stupid. He can't even do that well. But that's maybe the only thing he has. Gunn, the thing with Gunn is, I'm not saying that Gunn can't do anything. I'm just saying that I think over time it's pretty clear that he's more of a one-trick pony, and that if he's not doing a quirky gang of ragtag, cynical weirdos, he's not capable of doing it. That's the only thing he's capable of doing. I have yet to see him do something that's not those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just like we live in the worst universe, like the worst timeline.
Worst timeline,
we
yeah.
just constantly, the Kurtzman constantly with the stuff. Gunn, keeps getting more work. Kurtzman keeps getting more work. I just hope that soon a lot of this finally rattles out. We get back to having studios that are actually interested in making money. They're actually interested in making something that's going to, make their fans happy and get people into theaters, or, get people to buy merchandise, whatever. Like, make things that are crowd pleasing and that people actually want to see and people actually care about with these IPs, instead of them constantly being snatched up by these virtue signaling idiots that all they care about is whether they get the invitation to that next dinner party because they virtue signaled hard enough to be approved by everyone else in their circles. Like, can we just have like good things? I mean, I know the answer to that. The answer is no. We can't have nice things, but it just feels like maybe eventually we're gonna get there. Like, Gunn is gonna, they're gonna recognize he was a one-trick pony, and they're gonna shuffle him off to go, make whatever projects. Like, oh, you know what? Here's your deal. We're gonna sign you up for a first look deal. You just bring your ideas to us when you think you've got something. We'll let you know if we want to buy it or not. And then they shuffle Kurtzman off to the corner with Secret Hideout and say, oh, well, we're real interested in the next thing that you're going to do. Just let us know all about it, but you're not going to be touching Star Trek anymore. So off you go. It's sad to think that after the disaster that we've been watching, Bryce, this show, that there's going to continue to be more Kurtzman Trek for a while. I think,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
that even after this disaster,
There's another
it was
season,
interesting.
yeah.
I saw, you know, some other people talking about it, and one of the things that they pointed out was that it's unlikely that that Paramount would just can the show. One, they'll have to pay fees, and second, it's unlikely they would be able to use it for a tax break because it's not actually their show produced under their auspices, right? It's made by Secret Hideout. See, if anyone were going to be able to get a tax break from it, it would probably have to be Secret Hideout that would have to
Kurtzman.
cancel it, and you know, and they're not going to do that, right? They're not going to cancel it. They kind of are contracted to deliver it to Paramount. So Paramount would gain nothing by not airing it, and the, you know, Secret Hideout would gain nothing by not giving it to them. So yeah, we're probably still getting a second season of this, and we're getting, you know, the next couple of seasons of Strange. We're getting the season 4 and then the abbreviated season 5 of Strange New Worlds. But the likelihood is that you know, right now the agreement that was there with Kurtzman has essentially lapsed at this point, and it doesn't sound like there's anything else that is in the works.
If at least they
So
stop.
hopefully,
Yeah, exactly.
hopefully what's made is made. That, you know, eventually finds its way out there. I think it would be absolutely hilarious price if these other shows just get dumped unceremoniously. Just, you know, hey, it's ready. Here it is. And they just dump the whole thing out there, every episode at once, just to get it out of the way, right? Let's hope we get plenty of watch hours this week, and then maybe next week no one will be talking about this show anymore. Kind of the Echo approach, right?
Right. I mean, the thing is that for me, like as a reviewer, I really prefer if they do it like weekly at this point, because it's so much work. Like if they dumped it all at once, it would be like a disaster. I, for me, because I can't review 10 of those at the same time. That is inhumanly possible. That is just the only person that could do it is probably Disprove, but like he's just, like you said, a machine. I can't do 10 episodes of that. Not in the way I review. I can't do 10 episodes of that at once. Definitely can't give them the attention. I don't want to say the attention they deserve, because they don't deserve any attention, but it's possible. He may dump it, and they may dump it in all in one day.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
it's also, I think, I'm not sure how many episodes that second season of Starfleet Academy is actually supposed to be. I think it might also be an abbreviated season, like the last you know, the final season of Strange New Worlds. I'm curious.
How many
here
episodes
now.
of the Strange New Worlds final season?
I think the last Strange New Worlds is only going to be 6 episodes.
How many were the previous ones? I don't even watch that stupid show.
They would be 10. They were 10. Yeah,
I
so I think the last season is only going to be 5 or 6 episodes. Let's see.
That makes sense. I did watch a movie today, which hasn't come out yet. I had a chance, and I didn't watch yesterday. I had a chance to see this movie with Chris Hemsworth and Halle Berry that hasn't come out yet, and
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch it. The truth is, I wouldn't have watched it because I was still busy with that review. The other thing is that initially I like Chris Hemsworth, I like Halle Berry, but then I saw that like the second or third build is like Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo he usually cancels out almost anybody else I want to see him in a movie. Like there's very few people that I see their name and I just like already don't feel like seeing the movie. I know how bad that sounds, but like I find him very annoying. And it's not like I ever really liked his acting. I don't think he's a great actor to begin with. Mark Ruffalo is sort of, you know how it used to be like you have a marquee name, like you see like Sylvester Stallone, and then you're like, oh, I'll go see that movie. For me, Mark Ruffalo is like the opposite effect. You put his name on the marquee, I start to wonder if I need to see if maybe it's a better idea that I don't see the movie. You know what I mean? He's like a name that deters me from wanting to watch the movie. And then it's the truth though. I that's how I feel
Yeah.
about Mark Ruffalo. I
Yeah.
don't know. You can say that I'm weird or something wrong. Like I
Oh
mean,
no. I'm with you. Mark Ruffalo, as I have said repeatedly, uh, in a town full of some of the dumbest people on the planet, somehow Mark Ruffalo still manages to be the dumbest person in Hollywood. It's astounding, and no, he is not a draw for me. In fact, quite the opposite. So
I
I
told you
agree.
there was some service. I don't know if it was HBO Max or one of those things. Like I looked, it's like, oh, there's a new show. It's a detective something. I look, I see Mark Ruffalo's face, like starring Mark Ruffalo. I didn't even press play. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch like a 10 episode thing with Mark Ruffalo in the lead. There's a lot of things I could be doing with my time, and I'm not doing that one. So just you know, and it's not like okay. Sometimes you have like some artist or some actor or some whatever with like a take that you don't like, or maybe said something stupid. There's no shortage of stupid people in Hollywood. I just feel like Mark Ruffalo usually goes like the extra 5 miles to be like have the dumbest take, be the most annoying. He just I mean, I just see him and I just think to myself, like, this guy's I don't want to spend any time with him. You know what I mean? Don't want to see him
Yeah,
on screen.
totally,
Don't want to spend time
totally.
with him on my screen. You can say whatever you want. And it's sad because I don't like I like Halle Berry and I like Chris Hemsworth. Those are people wouldn't mind seeing on my screen. I don't want to see him on my screen. So there was that. There was another one yesterday. There was a movie, I think, something about called Nirvana, the band, the show, or something like that. It's some kind of satire with like Canadian humor or something. I think I was able to watch that, but again, Starfleet Academy. I couldn't. I was just trying to finish that thing. I was desperately trying to finish that review. It seemed to take me forever, so couldn't make it to those. However, today I did see an early screening of a movie called Good Night, Good Luck, Don't Die.
Oh, this is one I'm kind of interested in. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say, or maybe I'm not. We'll find out.
So let me pull up. I'm curious what it has on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. Okay, let's see for a second. I'm going to share the screen. Start share. Okay. What, Caleb Levine Canadian humor? That's what it was. Yeah, something like that. So it's called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It stars Sam Rockwell, and the score is 92%. Now, I'll tell you what I think, Professor. The movie, and I won't do any spoilers because I think that if people want to watch it, they can. I think I can talk about it without spoiling and just give whatever maybe the little things that you see in the commercial. The movie starts off, and you see this in the trailer. The guy shows up at a diner. Let's look at the trailer actually, just to do a refresher. I think that's a good
Sure.
policy. How do I find that trailer? Let me see.
Let's see. I have I've got, actually I was looking at IMDb. It's got the trailer up here, so we can play it that way.
Okay.
Because I was curious what the score was over there. Oh, you'll need to share my screen.
Okay, hold on one second.
You got audio? Yeah. So honestly, really interesting cast. I like Sam Rockwell. I like a few of the other people that are in there. I like Gore Verbinski. So yeah, I'm curious as to what you thought about this, Bryce.
Okay, so first of all, yeah, and this I'm not spoiling. The movie starts off, they're at a diner. A guy walks in, he says he's from the future. It looks like he says seems to have something that looks like a bomb attached to him, and he's here to like save humanity or whatever. And then from there, you see like a lot of things happening. There's people there, you see the backstory of different people, certain situations were very kind of weird and quirky, and the movie is very kind of offbeat and quirky in the sense that like
Yeah, I got that from the trailer, from some of the promotional materials. It looks like it's that kind of quirky thing.
Very, very quirky, very offbeat. Not quirky like James Gunn, if that's what you're worrying about. Like it's quirky, just
No,
like
no.
it's strange, but it's people that are basically, it's one guy, that Rockwell guy, trying to do something that'll fix his own future and things like that in some kind of apocalyptic thing. Now the thing is that generally speaking, I'm the target audience. I really like time travel, so a guy coming from the future trying to fix the past, always like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm already sold, which means I'm the target audience. And you know, I looked at a lot of scenes, and there were a lot of things here that I thought, were interesting. However, though, I will say that probably for the first hour of the movie, there's a lot of hits and misses here. There's like things that happen that I feel like the movie doesn't establish enough what it's going for or what it's trying to do. And while I didn't suffer watching it, that first hour I was kind of like, going back and forth as to how I feel about the movie. I'll say the second hour of the movie improves. I feel like somewhere in the second hour, it starts to find its footing a bit, and there's ideas that I liked more, and certain things that happen that like make more sense, and there's some kind of story and resolution to it and things like that. uh Still, with all of that being said, you could tell that whoever made it is not a bum, because like Gore Verbinski obviously is not a bum. You could tell, this is not a bad production. I don't know what kind of budget he had. uh if he had like a smaller one, relatively speaking, and he just made the most of it, because there's some visual effects and things, especially like in the second half here. Or is this, how much did it cost? I just don't know. But I'll say this: it feels like a movie that I wanted to like more than I did. Uh, I wouldn't give it a 92. Now, I wouldn't give it a failing grade, but I really wanted, this is a movie. It's like you were saying, Professor. Like, I like the director, I like what he does, I like his style, I like whatever. I wanted to walk in here and love this movie. I really did. I felt like this is a movie for me. I want to walk in and like this is it. And I sat there and I'm like, it's it's okay, but it just feels like there's something missing. I would have to think about it to tell you what I think is missing or what didn't work exactly. Uh, if I had to give one thing, and I don't think I'm spoiling here, there's this feeling that I think the movie is trying to address, that these days we rely too much on cell phones, on smartphones, on like, uh, all the time being online, and all this other stuff. This is
Hmm.
all true. It's just there's an AI. The way that they handle it in the movie feels a little bit like heavy-handed. Do you get what I mean? Like the
Sure, sure.
messaging that they're like, I agree with the message, I agree with it, but I feel like it's so over the top, like in your face and blunt, that something about the mystery of it, a little nuance or a little more cleverness when it comes to the writing, for me, is missing. My positives, though, I think Sam Rockwell does a good job. I like his portrayal as this character. I also think that there's specific scenes that I'm like, I kind of like this, I kind of like that, but it's not a consistent thing that the whole time I sit there and think this is great. And I will say that in the first hour, I was really kind of like, had very mixed feelings about it. The second hour improved. So it's not as good as I wanted it to be. It's not a 92 for me, but I always say that I want people to try to come up with interesting ideas, with something a little original, with something that I haven't exactly seen like it before, and if nothing else, there's something a bit different about it. And because it's a director who I don't consider a bum, there's at least moments, especially in the more second half, that I think that some of the ideas are kind of inventive, not, or creative, or whatever it is. Like, you're watching something that's cool in certain parts, but I don't know, like, there's things here that don't make full sense to me, and I feel like, again, it's one of those movies that it's less than the sum of its parts. It needed to be like more than the sum of its parts, and somehow it comes out like, in my opinion, less than the sum of its parts. So, not a failure, not a disaster, but not a 92. 92
Yeah.
is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. But maybe it just didn't come together quite the way that you had hoped, quite the way that maybe the director had hoped. That so there's things that work, things that don't, things that are enjoyable, but also, overall maybe just didn't make a cohesive whole. I kind of get what you're saying.
I mean, I do like the fact, and like I said, I always in all my reviews, I'm like, oh, can't they do something different? Can't they somebody think of an original idea? So I feel like he tried to do something that's like his own thing, and he didn't steal it or pretend it's a different franchise or whatever it is. He did his own thing, and you could tell there's a steady hand with a director that's not an idiot and like wanted to do his movie, and he's doing his movie. There's just this feeling, and maybe it's more the screenplay, especially in the first hour, that somehow the pieces of the puzzle don't come together as strongly as I would have liked. Like, there's things that happen, and I'm just thinking, like, unless you understand that whatever world you're looking at is not really representative of the real world. See, okay, I think I know. I think I know now what the problem is. When a guy comes from the future and says, hey, I have a whatever, I need to fix the future because of the past, and he's here, you expect that the past that he went to will be something that's recognizable to you. But the past that he went to, that supposedly is supposed to be you and I's present, feels like it's not our present. It feels like another thing going on. So that idea of, okay, he was there and he came from here is less appreciated. It's almost like he traveled from one universe to another universe, but not necessarily traveling back in time, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Do you get what I mean? Like, what works about, like, when Back to the Future came out in the 80s, what worked? You live in the 80s. Marty McFly lives in the 80s. He goes back to the 50s. He needs to go back to the 80s. I don't know. There's something clear about it. In this case, we're in the present day timeline, and he's arrived. And the present day timeline is like weird and makes very little sense. It's kind of like, or it's almost like a different world than you and I live in. You could say it's an ambitious idea, but something about it, I think, it makes the movie not grounded.
Yeah. You're trying to make a connection with a character that comes from a world that doesn't exist yet, right? That can be really difficult. 12 Monkeys, right? You kind of had a similar thing going on there, where you had to try and make a connection to recognize like what that future was for that character. I don't know.
Basically, okay, if we're making a time travel movie now, you need to have certain things to make it worthwhile. Now, you and I, like, let's say we're doing the movie. If it starts off in 2025, that's our present day. Somebody comes from the future, and the whole idea is he's dealing with our past. Like, our present is his past. You can set up a situation where that works, but if the world of the present is a world that's unlike the world that we really live in the present, that things are happening
Yes.
that don't make any sense, then you
Gotcha.
have no kind of, you can't ground it. You don't understand what he needs to fix because he came to a place that's not like your world anyways. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like, when
So there's a double disconnect, right?
Yes,
You're disconnected from the character in the future that came from the future because they live in a world that you've not experienced and you don't know. It's unfamiliar to you. But then the world that they're traveling back to, that's also not the world that you live in. It's also different than where you are. So yeah, there's not that, as you said, that grounding of the story. If they had come back into our present world now, and he's saying, hey, there's a new app launching tomorrow, and it's dangerous, and it's going to cause all of these things, and it felt more like it was something that we saw today, then that would definitely have helped, I'm sure.
Yeah, somebody said Michael Pena's all right, got nothing against him. I like him too, and I think he's fine in the movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't,
There was a couple people were asking like who the actors were in it, so I was naming some of them: Sam Rockwell, Zazie Beetz, Michael Pena, Juno Temple. I just said those were some of the bigger names.
Had no issue with them.
People were saying they hadn't heard of those actors. I'm like, oh well, okay. I mean, that's you. I know who those actors are. I know I very much enjoy Sam Rockwell. I've always enjoyed him as a performer. I think he has a really quirky style, and he can do the comedy, he can do serious, and I like him. Zazie Beetz, she was what's her name from Deadpool 2, Domino.
Yeah.
Deadpool
She's
2.
all right. I don't
Uh,
have anything against her.
yeah, no, I don't have any problem with her. Michael Pena, I've enjoyed him in a lot of different roles he's been. I think he's fun. Juno Temple, she hasn't been in a lot of stuff. She was in Ted Lasso. Yeah, that was probably her biggest role, but she's been in a number of other things as well.
She
And
didn't
I
bother
think
me.
I think she's funny. I think she's funny. I think she has good timing. So
Yeah, I
I
didn't
like
have
her.
any issues with that. Tomac says, Price, you should review Shelter, a fun action movie anyone can enjoy. Haven't seen that yet. I really am going to try to catch up maybe this weekend if I can watch the but it has Ruffalo in it. I'll see what to do with the Chris Hemsworth one. But there was the other one, the Canadian Weirdos, and maybe Shelter. There's a few movies that I need to catch up on. So yeah, uh, back to this thing. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it to you. If let's say I know how to do this. If let's say we started Back to the Future and he's in the 80s, but instead of like when the 80s that we were in the 80s and we watched the 80s, he lives in the 80s only it's like a strange 80s. Like things that are happening there that don't exactly make sense with what's happening in our lives right now. There's a certain chaos that has like nothing to do with our reality. So if he travels back in time, you can't appreciate that he needs to go back to the 80s because it's an 80s that we don't recognize.
Sure.
Sure, they did something like that in the second one, but they already established who the characters were, so I guess like they could do that. But here, the present day doesn't resemble my present day, and the future is a future that I don't know of.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but that's my main issue. That if let's say the guy from the future came and he's acting like in our world, just I know what our world is, and he's trying to do something with the reality that I'm familiar with, I can appreciate that he came from the future. Like in 12 Monkeys, when
Mhm.
Bruce Willis arrives in the 90s, then he arrives in the 90s. You know what I mean? He's not arriving in a fake 90s.
Sure. Yeah,
So
you're right.
that's the best way for me to describe it is that it's and maybe that's a bit too quirky and something about it, and again, even in those parts I can appreciate that some good ideas there were some interesting ideas there. I like the ambition, I like some ideas, it just doesn't come together for me the way I would have wanted. But maybe I'm nitpicky. All these reviewers are all kissing this guy's ass. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't give it 90s. I wouldn't give it 80s. I'm not even sure I would give it 70s, but it would get
Well,
a
you know what?
passing grade.
What do the reviewers actually say? Because remember, Rotten Tomatoes is deeply deceptive as to what 92% actually means, right? They count a 6 out of 10 is that's a fresh, and so counts toward the 90% fresh, right?
So let's look for a second. Leo Brady says Verbinski has never been one to handle subjects delicately, and his condemnation of AI, phone addiction, and the erosion of education is delivered with unmistakable force. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's too forceful. I think that like a good storyteller does it in a way that like makes you think more. This is like the just a blunt to your face, whatever. But did I really like that blunt thing? Not really. Not. I don't have an issue with him criticizing AI and phone addiction. I think it's fine to criticize it, but maybe there was a way to do it that wasn't as blunt. Max, like if I feel exactly like I can see it and feel it while I'm watching the movie, The Preaching, it just feels like it's too much. Max and Vincent says, this is the first time I felt nothing while watching a movie by one of my favorite artists, who should probably keep taking a sabbatical if his grand return to movie making is as listless as this. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was as harsh as this guy, but I can understand why this guy would say that. I mean, it's not. Here, this guy says, Good Luck is undeniably a messy, shaggy dog of a movie, but it's a beautiful mess. It's a timely plea for humanity to snap out of blah, 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 blah. A chaotic assault upon the senses, avoid looking for deeper meaning and buy into the absolutely nuts, out of control spirit and run wild through the movie and say at the conclusion, more please. Well, like I said, I think that for the first hour, I struggled, much like the guy that complained here one of the earlier ones, or the people that were saying it was a mess, I did at some point just said, okay, let's just go with it. And I think that the second hour improves. And with that being said, I still think there was a way to do this better. And yeah, some of these things like 2.5 out of 4
Yeah,
is like
that's a 62%, something like
right.
that. 62.5%. That's not a good to me, that's not a fresh film. That's a movie that just barely made it across the line of being watchable.
Right, exactly. So you have Jay Coyle says it grows more wayward and deeper, and it goes into too lengthy runtime. It is rather long. I'll give it that. I feel like the second hour of the movie should have been a good I prefer that the first hour would have been shorter and just present us more of what happened in the second one. Get to it sooner. Maybe it would have been better. Uh, then there's another guy that says, with rowdy humor, a singular hook, and an earnest emotional core, this is thought provoking, engrossing, and entertaining as hell. I don't know. With Oscar winning Sam Rockwell's blah, 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 it's captivating, silly saga about the pitfall for a modern techno obsessiveness. I do like Sam Rockwell. I thought he was good. If nothing else, he helps carry the movie. And the supporting actors, I also like them too. Sure, it gets a bit messy. See, they're all saying it. They all know it's messy. Sure, it gets a bit messy, but it's also exciting to see something so earnest and human and utterly bonkers. It's they're sort of mirroring what I'm saying. Maybe they're a little kinder than me. I like the ambition. I like the quirkiness. I would have preferred a better screenplay, even with all of that. There was a better movie here. That's what they're not saying. There was a better movie than what we got. Is it the worst movie I've seen? It's not the worst movie I've seen. Is it a complete disaster? No. Is it a great movie? In my opinion, no. It's not as strong as it could have been.
Well, that's unfortunate. This is one that I probably will see this regardless. I like the director. I like some of the people in it. Probably be waiting for streaming, or maybe going making a trip to India to watch it. But yeah.
Somebody says here, this is to consider a rotten 2 out of 4. Like a high school student who uses Grok to fact check his essay, good luck, have fun, don't die, isn't nearly as clever as it thinks it is. I don't completely disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a decent way to put it. It's like I don't even know if it thinks it's clever. It's just like it's this isn't a spoiler because this happens in the first like 2 seconds of the movie. When he walks into this restaurant or whatever diner, and he's come from the future, he already like starts like getting annoyed at people. They're using their phones. You use their phones, and you see other people use their phones, and then there's like, people that with the phone. It's like, I get it. I understand that people rely on their phones too much, but sometimes when you're just so much like in such a simplistic way latching onto that, I feel like some kind of nuance is missing. Like
Okay.
there was probably a way to convey these same ideas, but do it in a way that's different. At least he tried something that I don't see exactly every day, and at least you could tell there was a steady hand of a director that's not a bum. It's worth something, but like I said, for me it would be something I have to think about it, and when I do my review, I get a better idea of how much I want to give it. But I'd say like the range for me would be like probably 67 to 73. I don't know what it'll get, but I'm saying that's the range for me.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
would be surprised if I gave it even in the 70s, or maybe like 67 to 70, something in that range. For me, it's fine if
Yeah.
other people like it, they can like it. Not a 92. This is not a
Yeah.
92 movie for me.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I think that's not a failure. It gets across the line as being something that you can find some stuff in it to enjoy. And yeah, I mean, I think if it's up your alley, you like the director, you like some of the actors here, might be
But
worth your time. But yeah.
But the problem for me, and I didn't feel like it was overly like, the woke stuff or whatever. Like I felt like somebody just wanted to tell like kind of a quirky and bonkers story, and it's fine. I can't help but feel like it could have been done better than it was, and that's really the downer. And I'll say again, and then we can move on. The thing is that I'm the target audience. Time travel, weird shit going on in the future and coming back and whatever, that's me. That's what I like. So if you couldn't take the guy that's your target audience and really wow him, when you have good actors, a solid director, and all this stuff, I think that means that the movie is probably not as strong as it should be.
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that
But bunch of people in the chat talking about other movies coming up with interesting casting. Over on the YouTube chat, they were mentioning the upcoming The Odyssey. Some people talking about the the casting in that. Oh no. Yes, Elliot Page.
I will say this though, I don't know if
Um,
I mentioned it here. There was something that people were like, showing that photo of like Lupita and Goya or whatever. That thing was like AI doctored.
Yeah, it was. It was a doctored. It was a doctored photo. Yeah, it was. It was sort of from 12 Years a Slave, but they changed the outfit or whatever, or 13 Years a Slave. I forget.
It was
But yeah,
it was I think it was disingenuously trying to make her look especially bad, and I don't mind if you say that like she's not the right fit and all that stuff, but to just try to make her look bad on purpose is something that I'm
yeah,
against. That
yeah.
was
Agreed.
not
Agreed.
it was not a good faith meme, whoever was doing that. I think I told you that
Yeah.
when that happened, that I don't like
Yeah.
there's so much annoying things that people are like, I'm gonna get clicks, so I'll go to AI and do this disingenuous thing. No, fuck you. Like, if it's fine, you put a picture of her the way she really is, and you're like, I don't like her and I don't want her in the role. You could say that, but to kind of go out of your way to try to make her look bad, including using like something that somebody just like beat her up in a movie, and then you use AI to like twist it around. That's not making an argument in good faith. You know, people like that person
Agreed.
make
Agreed.
people like me look bad. If you understand what I'm saying, like one can argue about the merit if like it should be more faithful to the source material, whatever. But just to make an actress look bad, I don't like that. I've also said this. I think that she looks fine, Lupita and Goyo or whatever. I'm probably not pronouncing her name right.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Nyong'o. Yeah, I think it's.
Yango.
Yep.
I think she looks like, fine. I don't think it's not a matter of like her looks. It's a matter of, is she right for this role that they're casting?
As supposedly the rumor being that Helena Troy, which by the way, I think if you go back, you follow back to the original announcement of them saying she was going to be in the movie, I do believe I said she's probably playing Helena Troy, because I thought that for a while, because it seemed like that was the direction that Nolan was going with this. He was going to have a bunch of characters that were race swapped all over the place, and a whole bunch of DEI stuff all squeezed in here. So that that's something I've thought for quite some time, as I saw all of the different casting that was going to be in there. And then obviously there's going to be some other crazy stuff with like someone said, putting Elliot Page in there and whatnot. Okay, sure. I'll be honest, I'm not interested in seeing this movie at all. I think it's going to be no, Adam Gray in the chat said Nolan's Megalopolis. I think that's it. It's going to be this huge project that's just this ego-driven nightmare. And I know there's going to be tons of people in the theater seeing it, and I know there's going to be critics saying it's the greatest thing that's ever been made. I'm not buying it. Not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe it'll be okay, but I don't know why he couldn't stay more faithful to the source material and why he wants to do all this stuff. Like, he doesn't need all this kind of weird woke stuff, so I don't know why he's going for it personally, but that's just me.
What he should really be doing is going for a truly prestige, timeless picture of telling this timeless story of the Odyssey. And clearly that is not the direction he wants to take. He wants to get weird with it. He wants to get conceptual with it. He's going to have all of these different actors, these big time actors playing all these different roles. The Greek armor looks very strange. It does not look historically accurate at all. It's very, sort of artistic. It's not, I'm just not. It's not clicking for me. Not clicking for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Let me see for a second.
I think we
I wanted
might
to.
have a super chat or
Yeah,
two
I
to
see
catch
them.
up
I see
on.
them. I'm gonna share it now. Okay. So for one of them, I did a little bit of scribbling on it just to confuse the system because I don't know, maybe some platforms may not like some word there. So one of them, okay, we already saw this from Jason Webster. That can we please ship Kurtzman and Gunn off to Rebel Moon? Then we have the real head case who says, "Gay History Month." Sorry, Gay History Decade. I guess it's implying that we've seen so much content like that over the past decade that it almost feels like
Yeah.
instead of the month, there's
Yeah.
like a decade. I get the comment. Sorry, I scribbled over it. I don't know what you can do and what you can't, so just careful. Uh, what's your favorite time travel movie? I think that's pretty easy. I think Back to the Future for me is like the gold standard of time travel movies.
Yes.
Maybe even the
It's
gold
it's
standard of
it
movies. Yeah,
it's got to be Back to the Future. Not only is it a fun movie that does involve time travel, but it is also just one of the best films ever made. Period. The
agree.
script is stellar in the way that you get the setups and the payoffs. Very similar, I mentioned it before, very similar to Die Hard. They really focused on making sure that when they set something up in the story, there's a payoff for it later on. And that it's amazing to me how we've had a template for this. We've known this for a long time, Price. Like when you set something up and then you pay it off, there's a reward, not just for the story, but for the people who are there for the story as well, right? Like, oh yeah, that thing that happened. So now like there's a connection there, and you see it and you feel it when the story's being told. And Back to the Future again. I know the time travel ridiculousness of Back to the Future when you really start to put it together and start to think about wait, but they traveled back, but then like time slowly catches up with him being changed. It doesn't change immediately, and what does that mean? And then there's all sorts of examinations of like, well, how would that actually work if you travel in time stuff? I don't care. The story is told brilliantly. It's acted by all of the players. There's nobody in that movie that's phoning it in. They're
Nope.
all doing an incredible job, from Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, up through Tom Wilson playing, the central
Biff.
villain in the piece. Everyone is doing a great job. They're putting their all into it. And there was also there was a bunch of just a bunch of coincidences and stuff that ended up coming together to make sure that all of these players could be in place to make that movie what it was. And it's brilliant. It's just a great film. One of the best movies ever made. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Like I said, you get the set-offs, the payoffs, and the time travel in it, despite the fact that maybe there's some things you could argue here and there. The rules don't quite hold up, but I don't care. Right? It's a fun movie. Things come apart a bit for the next two, right? Some of the rules get really messy, and how can you be here and there and whatever. But again, I still do enjoy 2 and 3. I think they did for following up a movie that's as incredible as the first one. The second and the third films are still very enjoyable, very fun, and still fit in with the rest of the story. Uh, if I were gonna have to pick a number two, a second film, it would probably either have to be 12 Monkeys, which I really enjoyed, but I've actually seen it like twice. I really need to watch that movie again. And then the original, the old school version of the Time Machine from the 1960s.
The real head case says, "Sorry, Price. I don't know. Thanks. What is it? Are you talking about me scribbling on your super chat? I
Yeah,
just
I
don't
think so.
I don't wanna I didn't want any trouble. I don't know, some platforms, I don't wanna annoy anybody, so, uh, I assume that there's nothing wrong, I could show the thing.
Yeah. Have you seen the 1960 the George
Is he saying,
Powell
I don't know,
time machine?
is he offended that I scribbled on it, or is he I don't understand the comment.
No,
Professor?
no. I think he's saying that he didn't know that post might be a problem somewhere.
I
He's
don't
saying
know,
that what you did is fine. He's not upset.
I see. I, these days, at the end, you say something that's gonna be the thing, and I just, you know, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so I try to be as careful as I can. That's all I can say, but, in any case, I do appreciate the $2, the real head case, the super chat, and, yeah, I mean, I said it out loud. I said, kind of what it was. I just kind of scribbled a little on it. Oh, the GNG and F&T get supers like that? Maybe they do. I'm not saying. Maybe you're right. Perhaps I'm being too much
L-
precautions here. Sorry,
lots of
real head case.
lots of gay in there.
I
in there.
apologize, real head case. Karate Werewolf, oh, you said what the favorite time travel. Yeah, somebody said, does Butterfly Effect count? Butterfly Effect was alright, but, you know, I do like, 12 Monkeys, the one with Bruce Willis. I think that's a pretty cool movie. It's not the same as Back to the Future for me, but I do enjoy it. Trying to think what
Yeah,
else.
somebody recommended another primer or primer. I don't know which way you
The
pronounce it,
weird
but
thing is that
the
once Primer, a long time ago, I don't know what service had it, and I put it on. I was so excited because they're like, it's a great time travel movie. I watched it, and like 30 minutes in, I think I dozed off and never revisited it.
it's not one I've ever seen. So, but I've heard people have recommended it. So, yeah. Oh, I was asking, have you seen that 1960 the George Powell time machine based on the original time machine story by H.G. Wells?
Did I see? I read the book.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I read the book. I'm trying to see if I saw a movie. When did the movie come out? Remind
It
me.
was 1960. It was a George Powell production. It starred Rod Taylor.
It's one of the
And
rare occasions that I only actually, watched I only read the book. Almost any other case, I watch the movie and won't read the book. That's one that I read the book for some reason.
yeah, it was the breakout role for the gorgeous Yvette Mimieux. Mimieux.
Let's see. Um, so yeah, I've never seen the movie, but I do like the
Yeah,
book.
yeah. It's a really good. It relates to the book pretty well. It takes a lot of liberties, but it's for its time a fun film. They did really good trying to do the special effects and stuff, showing what it would be like, with the world changing around you as you traveled through time and stuff. I still enjoy going back to that original time machine film from 1960. I enjoy seeing Rod Taylor there and the production design that they went with. I would guarantee that even if you haven't seen the film, you have seen the prop of the time machine from that, because it's rather iconic. A lot of people have seen that, don't even know what it's from. Very very classic Victorian design for the time machine, with a large wheel of a clock thing behind it that turns, and it's really kind of an iconic design. But yeah, I enjoy that one.
By
Some
the
other people
way,
were suggesting some other films like Terminator. Sure, yeah, that's a good. That's got time travel in it
I
as
love
part of the
Terminator.
story.
By the
The
way,
original, the first Terminator,
first one.
absolutely great film. Yeah.
The first Terminator for me, okay, I understand that production-wise, and I really love the production and things that they did in the second one, groundbreaking stuff visually, very, very, very well-made movie, But when it comes to the story itself, first movie. Terminator 1 is the best movie. When it comes, forget about the production and the visuals. When it comes to the idea and the story, for Terminator 1 is the real deal. I think that most directors that would have wanted to follow that up with a sequel, the sequel would have just, fallen flat. I think James Cameron made an amazing sequel to a movie that actually didn't really need a sequel, but I like his second installment. And with that being said, if you told me now that I could watch one out of the two movies right now at this moment, I'm putting on the first one.
Hmm.
The first one
Agreed.
is the one that
Agreed.
it has heart. You know what I mean? There's something about that first movie. By the time the second movie came out, I think this is the best way for me to describe it. The first movie is essentially almost like a small indie movie. It's a guy like James Cameron that has very limited resources, and he's being pushed to the max potential what he can do without money. That's what he's doing. He's doing the most he can with a low budget, doing like an indie movie that's a cross between different genres. It has a little bit of horror, a little bit of slasher, action, sci-fi, time travel, so many things in one. It's juggling so many things. That movie, if you want to know like what is a real feat, it's making that movie. The second one, I feel like all the people involved became super Hollywood. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying like Arnold Schwarzenegger, that the first one was like a weird thing that nobody knew. Second one, he's already Mr. Hollywood. James Cameron as well, the underdog guy that's getting a small budget to do some movie nobody cares about. Suddenly, he has like all the money in the world. It's such a different situation, and you could feel it when it comes to the story. You could tell that there's stuff in the second one. It's fine, it's good, and it looks great. And there's the thing with the liquid metal guy, the T-1000, whatever. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
There's
yeah. Groundbreaking special effects. They look stellar. Yeah, it was clearly they took kind of what they had learned from doing the creature in the abyss, the water creature there. They took that, they ran with it, and were able to develop that liquid metal version of the Terminator that looked great on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the Terminator for me, that is definitely one of the movies. When I think of time travel movies, I think of stuff like Back to the Future, Terminator, like I said, 12 Monkeys. These are strong ones.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's something else that I have that's as strong. Those have to be amongst the stronger options.
Yeah. And I know there's some people out there who love it, but no, not Looper. That movie
Nah, Looper is
sucks.
shitty. Looper,
That movie sucks.
it
I know
sucks.
people that love it. It sucks. I'm sorry. And the time travel in it, you want to say that the time travel in Back to the Future is convoluted the way that works. It makes no damn sense whatsoever in Looper. It's terrible.
The problem also with Looper that annoys me is that like Johnson is like a phony hack, and the only
Hmm.
reason that movie kind of, he had the right people. He took like Bruce Willis, had like Emily
Yeah, yeah.
Blunt,
The
I
actors
think.
are what make that work.
Right. I mean, basically, Bruce Willis had already established himself like in 12 Monkeys, and he was Bruce Willis. So when you have like a movie with time travel and Bruce Willis, and it looks cool, and it's his younger self, and like all this stuff, and Emily Blunt, like there was enough going for that movie, and Joseph Gordon Levitt at the time, there was enough going on with this movie that it just, he didn't spend a ton of money making it. Like the production, I think, was like, it wasn't a huge budget, and considering the budget and the names and the time travel and the marketing, it managed to do pretty decently. But I agree with you, Professor. I always remember this, that I sat down with like an old friend of mine that I grew up with, and we usually like the same kind of movies. Put on like this movie, and I think that like after 30 minutes he like dozed off. He's like, this is whatever. This is boring. And it, it, you know I know, the fact that he didn't like it says a lot. I was like a little more generous than him, but even I thought it wasn't spectacular. And another thing I'll tell you is, considering how much I like time travel movies, and this is before The Last Jedi and all that shit, I've only watched Looper once, And there was never a part of me that said, "Hey, I like time travel movies. Why don't I check this movie out again?" Because usually when there's a good time travel movie, you kind of want to watch it again. You know what I mean? Like you want to see again how things looked at the beginning, how they looked at the end. Time travel movies are a good movie to watch again. And if I saw your movie and I'm like, I don't give a shit about your movie, that means you didn't do such a good job. That's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Yeah,
0 for 2 with me. There
yeah,
was, first of
Looper's a
all, that
mess.
stupid Brick movie that I told you that I annoyed a lady that brought a movie and put
Mm-hmm.
it on, the time was like a DVD. In any case, she put it on and she was very excited, and I didn't share her excitement. All I had to do was to pretend that I liked that Ryan Johnson movie, but I just couldn't do it, Professor. Sometimes, like, your principles and your ideals and your integrity are more important. I can't lie. I can't suddenly pretend I like that movie.
I can't blame you. I can't blame you. Yeah.
Well, I guess we're finally here. We did talk a bit about, like, did we I guess we kind of actually talked about it, about Starfleet
Yeah,
Academy.
we did talk about it a bit. Obviously there's been quite a bit of discussion about it over this last week. As much discussion as there was over the previous episode, the one that involved or centered on our Klingon character, who isn't really a Klingon because he doesn't ascribe to any of the traits or the values or anything that we would traditionally consider Klingon. He just happens to be brown and have ridges on his head. Like, otherwise, not really a Klingon. That episode, as much discussion as that got, as much hate and as much I don't even know how to put it. As much as people talked about that, this episode this past week has absolutely blown up the internet. People are breaking down, trying to watch it and do reviews. It's so terrible, Bryce, and it blows me away, the people that are out there trying to defend this. I don't know how much that you saw of the little exchange that I had on X. I know you showed some of it. Real briefly, I saw in your video that you did for the episode this week, talking about them leaving out Jake's brother or sister, the baby that existed at the end of Deep Space Nine but had not been born, just in this
That
new
was a great
episode this
catch,
week.
Professor. Yeah, you did great with
Doesn't
that.
exist. Just doesn't exist. They leave that character out completely, and then it doesn't even the child, whether in some extended media it's a boy, in some extended media it's a girl, but doesn't show up at all. Just doesn't exist there. When supposedly this episode was written by the biggest Deep Space Nine fan ever, right? It's not. And then there's other weird stuff, like you pointed out in your review, like the typewriter showing up. Why? That's so strange. And there are so many people, Price, who are trying so desperately to cope with this and try and convince themselves that somehow this is good.
You know what's funny? I saw somebody online saying, like, "Oh, it was important for the museum to keep Cisco's, like, kids' privacy intact." Like,
Oh,
what? After 1,000
huh?
years? After 1,000
Okay.
years, they need to keep
After
the
1,000
privacy
years, so
intact?
the child would have been dead for a long time. Yeah.
They would have
Uh,
been dead for, like, 1,000 years. There's no
yeah.
privacy to keep at that point. So
Uh,
stupid.
it's really important that they made sure that in the family tree they had the wrong woman listed as his mother. Was that important?
Nope.
What? Because his mother was Sarah. But that woman is listed is not shown in the family tree as being his mother. Some other woman named Jenna is shown as being his mother, and then that's labeled non-corporeal. Not non-corporeal. but she's labeled as being non-corporal, and it's hilarious. The people, some of these people that were coming in and talking, giving replies to my tweet on X, saying like, "Oh, no, you don't get it. This is all planned. This $1 billion, intellectual property, $1 billion company running this intellectual property doesn't make mistakes like that. These are all mysteries that they're going to solve. They're clues to the mystery that they're going to try to solve and tell us about for the rest of this season." And I'm like, are you delusional? This is a one-off episode. They're not coming back to anything they talked about here. The Cisco isn't going to get mentioned even once after this episode. This episode had one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to take the character, this hologram character that we have, who's annoying and childish and terrible, and through some sort of stolen valor situation here, convince us that, well, if you love Benjamin Sisko, see, she's just like Ben Sisko, so you have to love her too, right? Sam,
Absolute nonsense.
Gotta
It's
love
just
Sam.
such a disgrace.
Unbelievable. Ugh.
By the way, did you see that I was able to the Police Academy reference in my video?
I was kind of watching it while I was doing some other stuff, so I think I must have missed it.
Well, I won't say anything. If you ever
I'll go back and watch. I'll go back and watch it again.
There was another thing that somebody annoyed me, like in the comments, that somebody wrote, "Do you ever even watch the shows that you review?" You wrote that you said that there was a fart, but it's obviously the fish that was deflating. And it's like, it's not the fish that was deflating. There was a squeaky fart-like noise from the fish. Separately, there's another fart that came out of nowhere that it looks
there's
like
another one later on. Yeah.
Right. It looks like the doctor farted, but nobody says anything. There's just like a fart. Nobody says a word. And I'm thinking to myself, is this a situation that it's like a hot mic fart? Like that they just didn't know what to do with it and they just left it in? I wouldn't put anything beside them. They're so stupid. Like the fact that they couldn't even get the names right in the family tree and this kind of, it's like the minimum. They're so lazy. They're so, like, this is something that even if they made a mistake, they could go fix it in post or something. They are so lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unbelievable how lazy they were in this. All of and again, we're told supposedly that this was written by Tawny Newsome, and she loves Deep Space Nine. It's her favorite thing. She knows all about it. She has an encyclopedic knowledge of Deep Space Nine. We're told this by the producers and by some of the other writers, that she knows all of this stuff backwards and forwards. She's the best. And there's places where your average fan, not even a super fan, not somebody like me who's probably watched their way through Deep Space Nine 5 or 6 times all the way through. Those people, the average fans, can pick up on things being like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Or, hey, what about Cassie's child? What happened there? Why are we only talking about Jake? What happened with this other kid? How is Dax still here? That's an awfully long time for someone to be alive. How is Dax's symbiont still here? Why are we not seeing any of Benjamin Sisko's face? This is really strange. Why does he have a museum why does he have a museum in New Orleans? It was the people of Bajor that revered him so much. Like that's strange. Why wouldn't his museum or whatever to the emissary be on Bajor? There's all kinds of questions that people, even basic fans, could ask about this.
Let me put it.
They don't explain in the show. They don't explain them at all.
Of course, I'll put it this way, and I agree with you. I watched all the episodes of DS9 once, but it's been a while since I've seen them. That's why, here and there, when I talk about it, there will be like missing pieces, which are always there because you seem to remember every detail of every episode that ever aired
That's
in a
not
way.
true. I remember a lot, but yeah.
You remember a whole lot more. Now, I remember the main points. Like, I know the general direction of what happened. Oh, that what happened at the end. I know like the main beats, but yeah, I don't always know like every kind of encyclopedia knowledge or whatever. But you know what? If somebody told me that I was now making a new Star Trek and I was going to do something that refers and connects to like, one of the most popular captains ever and a show that it was, very well respected, you know what I would do? First of all, I would like lock myself out up and out. I'd lock myself up at home and start watching Deep Space Nine. I'd watch the whole thing. I'd want to make sure that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. This isn't some bullshit. You're trying to do sort of a sequel to Deep Space Nine, even if it's like agenda peddling. The minimum, know how to spell the names, know the basic, the kind of mistakes they made there is mistakes of people that are incompetent and at the same time don't even care and don't feel like watching. It's unbelievable that you would hire somebody that doesn't feel like watching Deep Space Nine to then do something about Deep Space Nine. This is type of situation that everybody needs to be fired. You know what I mean? You discover that everybody needs to be fired. You can't work if you don't know what that show is, and if you haven't done a minimum amount of research, if you haven't gone back to watch like some key moments and really absorb the franchise, you're not making a sequel. And this Tawny Newsome, I don't give a shit. I don't believe her. I don't believe she likes Star Trek. I don't believe anything about her. I believe she just knew that Dax was like an important thing, so she attached that to herself to try to get the gig. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Because now they'll always, even if they ever need her, they'll just, basically she created a situation where in the future, if they want to bring this character, then they'll have to call her. She tried to give herself job security as an actress by creating some stupid role, and it's like, I'm the new Dax. Probably hoping that later conventions and things like that she's going to go around. She'll be like, oh, you can have like Jadzia Dax, you can have Ezri Dax, or you could have like, shitty Dax. Sorry. I don't know if shitty is her name. I think her name was like Isla Dax or some nonsense. In any case, the whole thing is annoying. Not a fan of it at all. Let me think for a second. Did I get all those super chats? Give me 1 second. Oh, there's one other.
I see one more in here.
Yep, let's see. Thank you so much, Jason Webster. Let me find that one. So, Kurtzman Trek Writers Group. Oh, okay. Here now you can see everything. I didn't fix the thing, but here the real head case. You can be happy. Jason Webster, Kurtzman Trek Writers Group write each episode script after finger painting class. Probably, yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Finger painting, yeah. What are they painting with, though?
Hey,
Not
Ian,
sure.
friend of the channel. Mega Geek. How's it going, Mega Geek?
There, Mega Geek.
Did you at least watch my reviews, Mega Geek? At least maybe you can enjoy that.
Oh yeah, I can't blame anybody who doesn't want to watch this show. It's rough. It's so bad.
Difficult.
It's here's the thing that saves me is it's not Star Trek. It's just trash. It is some terrible fan fiction cosplay version of Star Trek, and the only thing that it is worthy of is mockery. And so if that's what I can provide to make sure that this show that it gets the attention that it's deserved, and that is negative attention, then okay, then I'll do it. I've I've spent plenty of time in my life watching terrible, terrible movies and making fun of them. That's the Mystery Science Theater 3000, sort of take on things like, what, there's movies that are terrible, and you know what, you can make fun of them. That's all that this is worth, is there to be made fun of. It's so dreadful. There's no part of it that's worth trying to take seriously.
It
It's
makes
awful.
me happy that Mega Geek watched my review. I don't know which review you
Yeah.
watched or of all of them, but all I can say is that I have put a lot of work into those reviews, and I hope somebody is enjoying it, because it really it does take a lot of energy out of me, those reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I'm not surprised. There's a lot of work to put in for all of the destruction that's been wrought on Star Trek, and like I said, the crappy fan fiction take on on this stuff. And to be honest, I mean, come on, I've seen Star Trek fan fiction better than this. If you watched
for
some
sure.
of the revival shows that people tried to do, they got different actors and stuff to come in and play the play the characters from the original series. There's been a couple versions of those where they've tried to revive the original series Trek and those characters with new actors, done so in fan fiction, built their own sets and wrote their own scripts, and brought it. There's some of that out there that's pretty solid. Definitely far better version of Trek than what you're going to get here. This is just laughably terrible. It's not, like I said, it's not even Star Trek. It's a teenage boner comedy. It's Meatballs. Star
space.
Trek. It's
but it's the more LG version of Meatballs. Meatballs still had, I think, a few people that were less, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It's Revenge of the Nerds in space or something. I don't know. But yeah, with more.
But Revenge of the Nerds was funny.
Weirdness.
Like, this doesn't even have that. This
No.
is like, this is worse than Dawson's Creek in space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
It's very, very bad. But what was I going to say? Since it's already getting a bit later, I just want to say, if you're watching on Rumble, which is our headquarters for this show, if you're watching on Rumble and you're using an app and you haven't yet signed up for Rumble, please, it's really good to do it. You should do it. It's free. And then once you do that, you can also follow us. And then when we stream, you'll get a notification. So it's a win-win for us mainly, but I guess there's some incentive for you.
Yeah.
It's definitely a win-win for us. Yeah.
Yeah. The good news is, at least for this season price, we're over the hump. We have just 5 more left. So we're halfway through. we'll hit episode 6 tomorrow. But again, if the rumors that I've heard, the stuff I've heard is true, tomorrow night's episode, Thursday's episode might just be the worst
I'm going to
thing
suffer so much.
we've seen yet, if it really is what some people have said. So we'll just have to wait and see. Did you have anything else you want to talk about tonight, Bryce?
Wait, there was one. Oh, okay. Also on YouTube, I think that some people, sometimes they're maybe subscribed to one channel, but they're not subscribed to the other one. If you're watching this stream now on YouTube, this is the live stream channel, which is different than the review channel. And if you like live streams and you enjoy hanging out, make sure to like and subscribe to this one as well. So Rumble or YouTube or whatever you're at, make sure to either follow us on Rumble or like and subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, and is there anything you still wanted to bring up, Professor?
You know what? There was one other thing, Price. It was a story I saw this morning. I guess it was actually from yesterday, but I found this to be absolutely precious. I'm imagining you probably saw this too.
What is
we
it?
We finally got some financials.
I saw it, yeah.
On Snow White, and we know exactly how much of a failure this bomb was in the theater last year. We know that the total production budget was around $336 million. They did receive some. The total actually ended up being, let's see, 343 million in today's money. Then we had, they did get some tax credits through the UK because it was made in the UK. So they did get some tax credits there, but that meant that in the end, even after they got the tax credits back, the total expenses for the film were $271.6 million, meaning that as it says here, the research lends weight to the widely established 50-50 split, which would give Disney just $102.9 million for the total box office, yielding $168.7 million loss at the box office after deducting $271.6 million net spending on the film. So Disney's Snow White, the Rachel Zegler bomb of a film, lost $168.7 million. Wow.
I mean, honestly, I thought that it would be more, and I think that we still don't know all the money that was spent here. I never believe them at this point, and I feel like it lost even more money than this.
And it's entirely possible, but still, I mean, at this point, we're saying it didn't come anywhere close to covering its budget, losing almost, I mean, basically losing almost all, well over half of its budget, right? It just went down the toilet. This was a total, absolute failure. If you actually read this article, this is from Forbes. It does have a lot to say about what caused this movie to bomb the way that it did. But my goodness, yeah, there's a lot going on here. And it does talk about all of the stuff that happened with Rachel Zegler, her, early on, dogging the original film, talking about why it didn't work, all the political stuff that she did, everything that happened that damaged this film. Yeah. It's a really interesting story. We obviously don't need to read all of it here, but yeah, the big news basically saying that at minimum, from the numbers that we have, Snow White lost $168.7 million. That's
bad in and of itself, but I still
astonishing.
would argue that it's probably bigger.
Could still be more. Could absolutely still be more. Price, buddy, you have an absolutely astonishingly generous gift waiting for you over on YouTube. So you should pop on over there and check out. There's a new membership as well as a super chat.
Okay, 1 second. Let me. Oh wow. Let me see. Okay, I'm on it. Give me a second. So let me fix the screen a bit. Okay, so we have from Rod Thunder. I just want to make sure I got.
Yeah, Rod Thunderheart.
Rob Thunderheart. Wait, there's another one. There's two of them.
And there's another one now as well.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. This is a very interesting development. 1 second. Okay. 1 second. Let me just want to make sure I get everything.
Yeah, and you have a third now from Rod Thunderheart.
Oh, wow.
Here, why don't I'll share my screen here, Price, so
Okay,
we can get them all.
you do
We can
that.
get them all in there.
Okay.
Get my tab up here. Find the right one.
I'm gonna
Lord,
read it
sorry.
now. Rod, this
So
is
many.
so kind of you.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, Rod
So yeah, we did
Thunderheart.
get a membership. Rod Thunderheart joining Leapers. So that's fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rod Thunderheart says, "Hey, I am not a lumberjack or a fur trader. I don't eat blubber or live in an igloo or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and not French, not American. And I pronounce it about, not about. And I can proudly say I can probably proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. I believe in diversity, not assimilation, and that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A talk is a hat, a Chesterfield is a couch. I think there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it is pronounced Zed, not Z, Zed. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Rod Thunderheart, and I am Canadian. Thank you. Rod, I'm basically speechless. This is the nicest gift. I think this could be possibly the nicest gift that I've ever
Yeah.
received here.
Absolutely incredibly generous, Rod. Thank you. And I don't blame Canada. I don't. No. Although I do enjoy the song. Yeah, our great Canadian neighbors to the north. We always have a lot of fun making fun of Canada and laughing with Canada. But the truth is that America and Canada share a lot in common. Always have and always will. So yes, proud Canadian, Rod Thunderheart, and we salute you.
I've done some pretty serious partying in Canada. I don't know if you know that, Professor.
Oh yeah, serious partying.
I mean, there's a friend of mine that I know from, a very long time ago, and he initially didn't live in Canada, but he got married and lived in, and went to live in Canada, and basically this is years ago. I'm not talking yesterday, but this guy is like a real party animal, like the most any even if he's not at a party and you're just sitting with him, the immediately you feel like you're at a party suddenly. You know what I mean? The type of guy that suddenly there's just, a million people around you that you don't know where they came from, a bunch of beverages. It turns into like this kind of carnival. And it's not so much, it doesn't matter where we go. It's like the carnival is him. I don't really know how to
Mm-hmm.
explain it. There's no way I could explain it unless you experience it. And the only thing is that I feel like over the years, he sometimes would invite me and I'd kind of go less because, when I was in my 20s, I could, I could do more of that. But over time, I can't do the same amount as I did. And I feel like he's never slowed down. He just it's who he is. He doesn't slow down. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
I know a few people like that.
Yeah, I mean it happens. I think I've shared this story here before that he had like a birthday, and this was in recent years. It was probably before the coup, maybe right before, like in the year leading up to it. And initially, he said like, "Hey, I have this big birthday. You should come over. You should do this. You should do that." And initially, I said like, it's not that I wasn't trying to avoid the birthday, but there were a few things going on. One, I was just kind of busy. I wasn't sure I could make it. And the other thing is that in the back of my mind, I again thought to myself, this is going to be one of those parties that like people are going to be partying all night. This is going to be like some exhausting thing. I should probably steer away, steer away from the whole thing. But then he like, he leading up to it, he's like, "Oh, you're not going to show up. Oh, okay, I understand. It's not that important to you, like, and this and that." I started feeling bad, you know, he is like an old friend and all that. And at the end, I just said, you know what? And I kind of did it last minute. So I grabbed a flight very last minute that I showed up right for his party because that's maybe what I told myself. Okay, I don't want to stay there for days. You know what I mean? It has to be like an in and out type of situation. So I got a flight, and this is all kind of last minute. I landed in Canada. His party, let's say, started at like 7 p.m. And when I say started, it went probably for a few days. That party was like never ending. But I went there at 7 p.m. and I think I had a flight that the next day, like at maybe 2 p.m., I already had to go back to the airport. Like I wasn't. Most people don't go to like another place to fly out there to be there less than 24 hours. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like the sooner I get out of here, the better it is for me. And I ended up showing up, and man, all as much what I thought that the wild party would be, that's what it was. He lived in a house. He had like a yard, hundreds of people there. Okay, hundreds of people, and people from like anywhere you can think of, any walks of life. You want to see like diversity and inclusion, the real diversity and inclusion. You go to this man's party. The funniest part of the party, funniest part, and this really happened to me, Professor, and this is in Canada. For the I'm sharing this story, which I usually don't share, but it was such a nice, generous gift that I want to share it. Basically, uh, there were people in his yard that seemed to be these kind of bikers that looked like they were perhaps from an organization that has bikers, if you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
And then, like, there
Yeah.
was some lady who was almost like a complete opposite, almost like a snooty woman. I don't know. I think she worked in a production. Sometimes they film stuff in like, in Canada. I don't know if she worked on Suits or I have no idea. She worked on some production. Are you with me?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I'm just saying Suits because I think at the time that was one of the production. I don't know if where she worked. She was working on some like I guess Hollywood production that was filming there, and she said to me, she's just talking to me, and she sees like the bikers, and she's like, "Oh, look, there's such a strange collection of people here. Like, if I didn't know any better, like I would think that those over there, they could be the Hell's Angels." And then I looked over, and I'm like, "Yep, I think those are the Hell's Angels."
Hmm.
I don't know why. You should have seen the look on this lady's face, and I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at anything. The strange collection of hundreds of people in this yard, like a party that I can't even. Nothing I can explain what that party was. And the guy was so happy that I arrived that every second, like another beverage was being given to me. Like I knew I had to leave. It was a nonstop like I don't know how. I wasn't without a drink at any moment, and at some point, I'm just like, "Oh, whatever. I'll have another one." You can't fight it at some point. I'm just like, "Whatever. I have my hours here. I'll leave at some point." And yeah, I think people didn't sleep. It was like a never-ending, nonstop party that just went. And somewhere at around like 12, 1, 2 p.m., I kind of like somehow. I think at the time I did. I took like either an Uber or whatever it was, and I went to the airport and I went back, and I somehow managed to do it. The guy was really happy, and I stayed like a short enough window. Another day there would have been already bad. You know what I'm saying, Professor?
Yeah.
So that's uh that's what I have to say about Canada, and that wasn't my only trip there. It's also a guy like always like with the sports cars, like he has like a Porsche, and back in the day you'd have some other kind of sports car and whatever it is, and like driving around, it's like it's too much adrenaline for me, you know what I mean? I think I'm more of a chill guy, like maybe in my early 20s, because it's a guy that I've known for decades. Maybe in my early 20s I could subscribe more to the fast-paced action, whatever, but over time it's like too many sports cars and too many beverages and partying. It felt like too much for me. I guess I'm lame now. I used to. I'm not as cool as I used to be, Professor.
Just not as cool and as hip as you once were. Yeah, that's okay.
That's the truth.
All right. Well, after that incredible gift from Rod Thunderheart, I don't think we've got much else tonight, Bryce.
I
Do you have
understand.
anything else?
Let me see for a second. I don't have anything else that I could see, but
Yep.
it's okay. I'm thinking, I'm thinking of staying a little longer. But if you have to, bow out, I understand that as
Oh
well.
no, I'm with you. I just didn't know if you had anything else to talk about, man.
I feel like with such gifts, I can't not do anything. You know what I mean? Like I have to do something. Because, like, I don't wanna shut it down when the gifts are happening. I don't know how this thing works, but, you gotta honor the person that, did that. And I'm so grateful. It's so nice of you.
Yeah.
I wish I knew, like, now you're a mystery. I'd like to hear it, like
We don't.
I'd love more context. He came in here, gave his, speech about Canada and dropped the goods. And did it, like, with the buzzer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at the buzzer. Let's see. There were some updates on Paramount's offer for Warner Brothers. Have you seen any of that?
I saw something like that, that basically one thing that I saw is that Ellison is trying to, like, they're hoping that there's two things. One, because everybody's, busting Netflix's balls on this deal in Washington, almost a bipartisan situation, then Ellison is trying to say, look, you're not going to get that deal done. You may as well take my deal. I'm going to help, like, Netflix break their agreement with the few $1 billion that they can make Netflix go away. And in addition to that, if we don't get this deal done by the end of the year, like the regulation or whatever it is, every quarter, I'll give $685 million or whatever it is. So he's trying to use different methods to show that, like, his offer has more of a chance of getting picked up and all that other stuff. But at the same
Yeah.
time, he's not offering more. He didn't change his offer really. He's just trying to sweeten the pot with a few additional things there. But what do you think? What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, as it is right now, it sounds like the board is going to take a look at it because it does include a number of different incentives. So you mentioned the 650 million essentially every quarter. That would be essentially an additional 25 cents per share every quarter for all the shareholders as long as it takes beyond the end of this year. So if they can close the transaction before the end of the year, they never have to pay a penny of this extra, what's referred to as a ticking fee. But if it goes beyond the end of the year, then they're saying, yeah, well, for every quarter that it goes beyond that, then you don't have, then we're going to keep giving you a little bit of incentive there, saying, you know what, we're still in this. We're still going to make sure that this deal gets done. We're still going to make sure that this gets approved. And it's that 650 million every quarter beyond December 31st of this year. There were some other things too. They included a much higher breakup fee with a WB, saying essentially if they went with Paramount's offer instead, they would cover the 2.8 billion breakup fee with Netflix. So that like if if they break their deal with Netflix, they're saying we're covering it, right? We're going to cover all of that. And then they also offered some other to pick up some other debt obligations and stuff like that. So and there's some other stuff in how they've arranged their how they're arranging the financing structure and stuff like that has also changed a bit to say, here's where the money is coming from for some of these other things. as far as where, because it's not all coming from the Ellisons, right? They're saying it's going to come from a couple other sources. So I think they've done some rearranging of where that's coming from. So it sounds like the board is at the very least considering it. What kind of offer, would this be compared to what Netflix is doing? I don't know if it's going to change anything, man. I really don't. I think perhaps this is going to just continue as it is, and it's going to be Netflix that's going to take this. But yeah, they're certainly in it to win. They're certainly trying to play the game as best they can. So yeah, whether the WB board actually considers that it's a better deal, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Rod Thunderheart says, "Oh, dude, it's fine. You don't have to keep going. I love listening to you and Script Doctor review scripts. Thank you. I've been on that show many times. Thank you so much. We, I was there just the last, I think recently. Recently, I was there. It almost feels like I was there the other day. I don't know. It probably was there the other day. I think I was there on Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, Script Doctor is reading my book, See Through Love. I didn't know you had a book. Where is it? Where does one find it? Let's see, Thunderheart. Let's see. What's the book called?
See Through Love.
Through Love. Oh, I see it.
So,
It's
somebody doesn't listen to very many Doomcock streams. If you haven't heard Rod promoting his book,
I haven't watched in a while. I like
Yeah.
like him, but I haven't watched. Let's see. So this is it, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to, when I can, I'd love to see what this is about. Interesting. Didn't know you had a book, and it was published in 2014. That's nice. I wish I don't know if I should have written a book at some point, but I never did it. The truth is, it's weird. I can read books and I can read them quickly if I have to, but I've always been more drawn to like cinema. Books, I don't know. It sounds bad, but ever since I was young, I was always felt that books are more of a chore for me. Like it was always the magic of cinema. Like if I can sit and somebody's putting on that show for me, maybe call me lazy or whatever it is, but like I love that a lot more. Books have merit. It's good. It's a different kind of experience, and you use your imagination more. And there's a lot of positives about that. But somehow, the idea of like the on screen adaptation is what I always really liked personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still do a lot of reading. Unfortunately, I find so little time to just sit down with a book. More likely to do that with maybe some manga or older comics or something. But occasionally I sit down with a book, but more often these days I end up listening to audiobooks because I can listen to those and I can consume those when I'm busy doing other things. In fact, most often just driving during my commute or whatever, right? I can tune in and I can listen to those, and I can work my way through books that way. So, yeah.
Let me see if I can find this one. Now, let's do this. Is this the one that you said was cheaper here? So here you go. Definitely, I'm happy to put this up here, and I'm so grateful. This was so kind of you. Like, we try here. We don't bother people and say anything, but any kind of generosity like that, it's huge, huge for the channel. So don't take that for granted at all. And it's really, really, really nice of you, man. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
very
have
kind.
to at some
Very
point
kind.
check out this book. I'll break my rule of like not reading books.
Come on, Price. Buy it on the screen and show us your credit card number. Come on, you know you want to.
No. I am in my own way. I'm gonna find a way to buy this thing. Audio Slave better than audiobooks. Man, Audio Slave is a good band. Was a good band. It's cool because the weird thing about Audio Slave is that if you would have told me that the musicians from Rage Against the Machine would team up with Chris Cornell, I wouldn't really know what that would sound like, but I think it sounded awesome. And I dare say, I know this is a not a nice thing for me to say. Zach De La Roche or whatever his name is that did the earlier Rage Against the Machine or whatever it is. He was fine for that, especially in that like big album of theirs that really put them on the map. But Tom Morello as a musician can offer a lot more than what De La Roche can do. Zach De La Roche has more of this kind of rap rock kind of thing that he does. Chris Cornell brought like a whole new level of like musicianship when it comes to the singing, and suddenly from a band that just has these cool riffs that this guy's sort of yelling on the original guy, now it's like these super cool riffs with Chris Cornell like making a meal of every one of them. So it completely surprised me how good Audio Slave was. Like I didn't really know what to expect of it, and then I heard and I'm like, wow, there's some really cool stuff that happens there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And why were we talking about Audio Slave? Okay, yeah, the Audio Slave. Got it. Oh, let's see for now. How are we doing with those things? I know we said that we could go to sleep. I just want to make sure at least we got a lot of it,
Yeah.
I just feel so bad because it's such a great gift. I am
Very,
so
very kind. Yes.
very, very generous. And I dare say that this could be like a world record on this on our streams. This could be like a world record. Or I can think of another situation, but this is definitely one of the, you know, definitely like lands in the top 3.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not to say that there's also people that consistently give, like the Dead Man, who over time, uh, very very big supporter of the channel, and I appreciate that. Uh, I'm saying that this is something that somebody came like in one day and did it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Also, other people, Jason Webster, the Real Head Case, Karate Werewolf. There's other people that drop things here from time to time. We appreciate everything. So don't want to make it seem like I don't appreciate, but this just is just a very generous kind of like lump sum generosity came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not nowhere, but you know what I mean? It came out of like left field. That's what I mean.
Rob Thunderheart says go to bed. So
Well, I appreciate that, Rob. Well, you know what? If you come and hang out with us on other streams that we do, we can definitely highlight some of your texts and talk more with you. If you show up earlier, we'd love to hear some of your thoughts on stuff. So that would be cool. And yeah,
absolutely. Are we ready for some shout outs?
yep.
All right. Oh no.
Anytime, man.
Hold on. Oh no, it's my message was too long for the private chat, so I'm gonna have to break it up here. Okay, there's part 1. And here's part 2 of those that are joining us over on Rumble this evening. Quite a few new faces hanging out with us, thanks to getting promoted in Rumble tonight. So we appreciate that a lot.
Always appreciate that. And I'll always appreciate this platform and everything it does. And it stands for free speech. It also was important now with this Super Bowl and the halftime. Rumble, it's very important to have different stages for free speech. And I think that Rumble really lobbies for that, and I always appreciate that. What, I was supposed to read something? Is there?
Yeah, I said private chat. Yeah, there's
Oh,
two
okay, I
sets
see
of
it.
names from
So,
Rumble there.
okay, Rumble. Elizabeth Quince. I didn't see her today. She was here. Dude
Yes.
Bro Seth 420, VI234, JCJM Court. Okay, wait a second. JCJM Court, Live on My Feet, Barricade 59HWY, Double R Star, Guy Americano, and Hunt 3R55 2001, Gregory Lieber, Asimons 89, Folsom Lockdown, Key Burton 1, Jen La, Victoria B, Adam Hess, Darren Mai, Angelo DD, Hair Juicer 3K, Hebe from Michigan. I think that's what it is. B-Roll Stage, Lord Shax, RSN 40, Dickhead 12, GMI GMM 1, GMM 1, Tweety Logic, Hopper 433, Isaac XYZ, and NPain 7211.
Yeah, quite a few people joining us on Rumble tonight, and a lot of new names in there. So thank you all for
Thank you. It's
hanging out with
awesome.
us. So over on the YouTubes, had quite a few people hanging out with us this evening. Of course, the mightily generous Rod Thunderheart. Thank you so much. Also, Deadman Jason Webster Headcase. We appreciate all of the super chats we got this evening. I think that was everybody who gave us super chats. Let me double check here. We got Deadman, Graph Web also pitching a super chat. Karate Werewolf, Jason Webster, Real Head Case, and Road Thinner. So yeah, thank you all so much for all of those wonderful super chats this evening. We greatly appreciate it. And let's see,
Quickly, I just want to say Rod Thunderheart says, I'll do my best to show up. Ask Script Doctor if he's gotten his shirt back. I gave him the Man, the Legend t-shirt. And then I guess he was saying that his girlfriend stole it. I guess she's the legend now.
So Rod Thunderheart, the Dead Man, Jason Webster, the Real Head Case, Karate Werewolf, Tomahawk 511, Caleb Levine, Rod Nyson, Adam Gray, Ilord Corey, Vote Owl, Badfoot, E. Clay Thomason, Kodo Rob 22, Argentum, Graph Web, Captain Zoom, Darren M, Jamalama, Mur Rockstro, Captain Palsy, Dutch Gradient, Jonathan Conroy, Samsung, Lasher, Mass Grave, Rebecca Gold, Tim Hayes, Greg Williams, DJ McCullough, FKHC 2005, Zunar J5, Granola Grin, If Batman Had a Parrot, ridiculous name, I love it, Tony Grigio, Daisy Blossom, Flower Child, Jim Noxious, Pete Roble, and Mark D with a C. And we also had just popping in the last moment here, Never Married over on Rumble. So, appreciate everybody hanging out with us this evening, even those of you not in the chat, those of you listening in, either just listening to the stream or checking it out later on, not in the chat with us. We appreciate it. Oh, and hey, the Real Tomby popping in. Hey Tomby, how you doing over on Rumble? Good to see you.
Yep. Well, if nothing else, at least the $50 one that Rob left. I think Rod left. I think that that one is doing okay. Like we're almost done with Rod's 50 here. Rod's 50 disappeared. The other ones, they're getting there.
It take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this is very, very kind of you. Like I said, Rod, thank you very much. And we will, I guess we can head out now, right?
Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. But yeah, again, thanks so much for everyone joining us this evening over on Rumble. Those over here on YouTube, we appreciate you. Rumble's really the home of this particular show, but we do appreciate all of those of you joining us over on YouTube. And again, your very, very generous super chats. And whether you're on Rumble, YouTube, if you haven't had an opportunity, please make sure to like and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully, we'll see you again on Thursday evening for the Night Owl here, 11:45 Eastern. And I'm sure we will be talking about Starfleet Academy.
I'm sure we will.
For what it is.
I agree. Well, thank you to everybody. Thank you. So kind of you, man. I really appreciate it. Have a good night, and hope to see you here soon. And all of you, the rest of you here, it's been great hanging out with everybody, and we'll see you here Thursday.
Take care.
Bye.